tell me if he was winning like, if he was winning 3-1 every time, he'd be like, yeah, it's Londinium. But like, no. He was being very, very genuine. So I think the player that he was most scared of going into this tournament, he's up against now in the final.
Yeah, and certainly I think that's going to be the case. We've seen Wham really performing well. I just want to get into the games.
I'm very, very curious how this is going to go between these guys. Because, I mean, Marine Lord, he is a guy that people have said, very meta base, but very often he's the one setting the meta. And then it's like, okay, he stays in feudal for longer than other players. And he can do aggression, he can defend. He can pretty much do it all, which does make him an incredibly hard opponent to go up against. I know he's had rivalries with players such as Beastie in the past, which have, you know, gone all the way, and it's like the master of defending against just the master in general. But Wham has really showcased that he is not a one-trick pony either. He hasn't been winning through sheer tricks. It's been all-round solid play. So when it comes to these two guys, it's like playing two mirror-like players, you know? They're both just good at it all.
Yeah, I think Wham, you know, historically, people may have looked back at earlier stages of his career in Age of Empires 4 and said he might have been more favored as a defensive player as well, similar to maybe how people viewed
with Wham Walls, Wham
Walls. Yeah, exactly. These more passive strategies. But I think what has led to his success and what leads him here today has been an immense diversification of strategy and depth, mastery over the draft system, which I hope we'll get to see and see how that plays out here, because exactly, there are some surprises here potentially. I think there could be some really interesting strategies that we haven't really considered. Once again, that HRE pick is maybe a question mark. Is there another plan in play here that could just elevate this to something we haven't seen yet?
Absolutely could be. I mean, we also have to think about like some civs that weren't picked that are still quite strong. Delhi, for example, we saw that in a lot of previous games. But Marine Lord's draft, having Ottoman and French as two of your first three, picking Delhi against that is really rough. So there's been a lot of like denial civ picks as well. And you talked about how Byzantine was banned by Wham despite being one of his most comfortable. I'm just so curious about what matchups they want to avoid here. Because if you're Zushi, you don't want to play against Malian. You really don't. Do you want to play against Japan with Zushi? Probably not either. So what are you trying to save that up for? What kind of situation? And same with Jeanne d'Arc. They absolutely don't want to go against Malian, nor does French. But you can potentially deny Malian the whole way through. And then it's about what do you couple with it? What do you force your opponent to play against you? It's going to be very awkward. And on a Wham side of things, what doesn't he want HRE against, for example? Well, I look at it, I'm like, he doesn't want HRE against anything, honestly, but he's been playing HRE. He feels comfortable with it. I spoke to him in private as well, and he was like, I think people sleep on HRE quite a bit. And I mean, the fact that Tuklak is picked as well, that's a big surprise for me.
Yeah, historically, I mean, even running into this tournament, we saw Tuklak being viewed as quite dominant on a lot of these hybrid maps, right, where they can make use of the fish and dock and get that whole economy set up, and it really sort of played well into their style. But yesterday we saw Vortex try Tuklak on the land, and he said there's some strategies here that players are not really exploring enough yet, and he was willing to bring it out in the semifinals of this tournament. So he was that confident in the practice. It didn't work out for him yesterday, but maybe Wham had some ideas. Maybe Wham had some similar thoughts going into it, and we could see Tuklak being a threat on several of these maps as well.
We really could. And I mean, Tuklak, they are the elephants available. They can be decent. Like, they don't want to go up against an Ottoman, I imagine. As soon as that game progresses, it can get rough. Do they want to get... Like, what is Tuklak's weaknesses? When I think about it, I'm like, quite a lot, actually. They really don't want to be against a very feudal heavy civ that can punish that early fort, because that's the build that a lot of players go for. Macedonia, what doesn't that want to run into? Louis. Yeah, we love him too. He's back on the ladder now, by the way, and practicing, so that's really awesome to see.
Oh, he'll be back at a Red Bull soon then.
Golden Horde as well. I mean, there's awkward matchups here on the board. Macedonia is obviously one that's been very prevalent. We've seen it quite a bit on front range. They are able to take quite a lot of food early on, getting that Golden Horn Tower in the middle, the center of the map, meaning you have to go all the way around or be kind of weird about it, really slowing down the game to get out a lot of Radari. But the French picks, those can be annoying. Like, you'd love to have French against HRE on the correct kind of map. Maybe On a Frisian, though, where French has been getting picked quite a bit, honestly, there's a lot of question marks in my head over the drafts between these two players.
Oh, some love for Beastie in the crowd as well. Can we get a round of applause for everybody here today? Oh, yeah. Look at all those beautiful, smiling people. Hello, everybody.
It is great to be here at the Royal Albert Hall in London for the Red Bull Wololo. This is...
Should we try it? The Red Bull, what was that, Demu? Wololo.
Oh, I just did the sound for me.
Aw. What about the Red Bull Wololo? Oh, look how he did it. Are you proud?
I'm so proud of you, Winston.
Thank you.
Production wasn't quite ready for me.
No.
I was like, I can't reel.
I'm keeping them on their toes.
I can't reel off guard for that. You know? I'm
toes.
only a replacement, okay? But yeah, this is going to be very fun to see what happens here. I mean, a lot of time going into this draft between these guys. I do know that Marine Lord, when he sets up his draft, he's often writing down the maps in Notepad, getting each map listed down as to what he would like to play, what he would like to set up. So a lot of thought can go into it. Duck mod.
Just advertisements. Look at all the cool hats too.
Idle Villager, I like that one as well, the t-shirt.
Get him to work.
And Marine Lord looking patient, but also a bit like, let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, he's ready. This is game time for him.
I've been doing the homework. I've done all the practice. Now it's time to show off my stuff. And yeah, you might notice he sits quite funny with that mouse and keyboard. He's one of the few players that I know that actually does that, with the keyboard in front, the mouse very much to the side. But I tell you what, he makes it work. And maybe my little boy might make him play a little bit like Marine Lord if I want him to be an RTS champ.
Train him young, you know, to get really good at RTS. You got to start really early nowadays.
Yeah, you certainly do. You certainly do. With the neck popping, the relaxing. What has this man got to show us?
Oh, the finger crack? Oh, he's ready.
Wham is looking very calm. To say he is regarded as the underdog, not by a great amount, but you're against the goat of AoE4. He's looking incredibly calm. And he's also the younger player, the less experienced player. I mean, oh, I see Ottoman on the board there. Is that Aya bid as well?
Oh, we're loading it.
Granted, I'm looking at a very small monitor here from very, very far away, but already that could be quite spicy here on King of the Hill.
Yeah, and it looks like we're just moments away. Whoa, an eagle and a jaguar. Whoa, so cool. Hello.
Hi, yeah, we spotted you. Okay, I think in a few moments here, we are going to get into this game and what a final this should be. It's lined up to be a good one. I mean, we had semi-finals that were pretty darn decent, but so far these players have gone untouched. Is the other one? I just hope we have close games, Winston. I hope we have close games. Some good StarCraft, or rather some good AoE4.
I think we're about to have some very nice games, Demu, and I am so excited.
We do see the players are in game here.
Yeah, we're just doing a quick confirmation, making everything's all set, and then we'll get that up for us.
So a little bit of downtime here.
What a stage, Demu. What a stage. What a place to be for an Age 4 tournament, huh?
It's beautiful. I'm glad they've got Marine Lord in red as well as kind of the evil one. Makes me think of like Star Wars, the bad guy, and then the blue guy, Luke Skywalker coming to dethrone him kind of thing. It's a good vibe. It's a good vibe.
Yeah, Marine Lord going for the three-peat, you know?
I mean, that's insane.
It would be crazy. Several years of dominance at the highest of levels. It seems that whenever the stakes are high, he just always has seemed to show up. And so I'm super keen to see how Wham will handle this, how Wham will move forward. I mean, even after this event, whatever the result, I think we're going to be expecting these two to be battling against each other in the future. After the recent success of Wham, I think this is just going to be incredible for the scene.
Yeah, I've got this like dark thought in the back of my mind that the previous Wololos, where Marine Lord was in the finals, he dismantled the Mr. 4-0 in that first Heidelberg final. Then he dismantled Puppy Paw 3-0. I just hope it's not going to be the same kind of situation between these guys, but the kind of gameplay that Wham has been showcasing, it shouldn't be so easy for him, but yeah, a little bit of moments here.
Yeah, it just looks like we have a quick pause here to handle something. And then the players, oh man, Wham's face, he just looks so locked in.
Super locked in, super focused.
Hello.
Yeah, apologies for this, guys. Games will start as soon as possible. You never know. It's live, right? So certain things can appear. We'll keep you guys updated as moments do pass. Saw a little bit of flex over there from Wham. And hands in the air. And hearts. Winston, when was the last time you actually saw these two duke it out?
Last time I saw them duke it out at a LAN.
Anytime, really.
I mean, in the qualifiers, no? And on ladder games?
They didn't play in the qualifier.
Oh, they didn't?
No.
They didn't play in the qualifier, right?
I guess that is something we can bring up. So Marine Lord qualified the first week. Oh, we're into the game here.
Let's begin.
That's what we want. That's what we want. It is going to be King of the Hill to get things going. Marine Lord will be spawning as the blue Ottoman player, although maybe he should be red. That is his color on stage. And we have Wham spawning as the Ayubid player. Now, King of the Hill, definitely an unusual map. Big things about this map. It's only got one sacred site bang in the middle. This very much promotes a lot of play around sacred site control. We see a lot of players go for towers around there. They grab it early. Both these civs can go. In fact, it's Golden Horde. I was getting that incredibly wrong. Golden Horde versus Ottoman. Okay. This is already far different than what I'm used to.
Yeah, this is a very interesting matchup to be choosing on this map. I wonder how much the snipes came into play. Maybe Wham wanting to just get Ottomans maybe a little out of the way early in the series. They are viewed as one of the most dominant civs, mostly because of that Spahi in the feudal age and just that intense production bonus that they get early feudal all the way through castle age. They just build this massive army, which might work to Marine Lord's favor here, as that central sacred site can prove to be a victory condition in and of itself.
By the way, I have to mention this. There's a barracks and a military school already out for Marine Lord. So one thing we talked about Golden Horde, they do not like to be attacked early on, specifically in the Dark Age. They have two very exposed resources, one being gold, the other being an Uvu itself. Oh, and I believe we're having
a quick pause.
We're giving the game I've been getting spoke to by production here. We're giving the game a slight pause here because it's stuttering a little bit, and that will fix it. Clean up and whoa!
Whoa, he's running.
That is some fast lads over there. And Marine Lord immediately still producing some spearmen here out of the military school, but we do have a tech already on the go. So may lose a couple of buildings here, but this is one of the strengths of Ottoman. They really can mix it up a lot. Well, I'm going to go for an early tower as a retort here, but he has to be careful. When a building is being produced, it takes double the amount of damage. And I tell you what, that is not a small amount. And you see Wham reacting to this, realizing, oh, whoa, you're actually going for it? Okay. And I tell you what, that's a lot of lost gathering time.
Yeah, that's a lot of villagers pulled, but it's really essential that these two early spots are really covered. You can't let the gold go down. You really can't let the Uvu go down for free. You have to try and defend it, but this is going to be a challenge. There's no real resources near this, so garrisoning that outpost in order to defend this villager is actually going to be tricky, right? The scout hops in, one arrow available, but at any point, these spearmen might just be able to run at this villager. The villager has a bit of ways to go to get to that outpost. Could be an opportunity for some dancing here from Marine Lord, but he might just be content with the damage he's dealt so far.
I think he's going to be all right about this. I'm wondering if Wham's going to go for an early, well, actually he has no gold for arrow slits on that tower, so that would definitely help with keeping all this alive. Right now he has no access to units to deal with that. Marine Lord's tech behind this is obviously delayed, but he can't be too sad with having a bunch of spears out in the field, given that one of the units you're inevitably going to be against is the Batu Khan and his Torgans. Spear's pretty all right against those.
Yeah, but Batu's much better than a single, so Marine going to have to run away with this one or just take him down fighting. Just a little bit of chip damage, but not the biggest deal for Batu Khan. He can handle it.
Yeah, Batu Khan will be able to regenerate when more Torgans do join the field, so not too big of an issue for him. And I tell you what, that Uvu does stay alive for now. Seeing that there is an archery range done, I do believe Marine Lord got to scout that. That's already a nice move for him, because as soon as you forced your opponent to making a defensive slow unit like an archer or spears, you then have a bit more map control. The things you have to worry about are when Keshiks come out or more Torguds. Now, you can't delay the Torguds more than he has done because the Uru didn't die. But now he's hit his age up now. I'm very curious about what he's going to go for. Immediately starting production with the meta on that military school as well, getting the upgrade for the Spearman. Nice play.
Yeah, and I think the big question is, when do we see the stable for the Spahi? Well, answered immediately. Marine Lord wants to waste no time getting to that unit. It is viewed by many as just one of the strongest units in the game, considering when it's available, how it's available. The blacksmith there to increase that production speed of those buildings nearby. The woodline is a little exposed, but of course the spearmen in perfect position from Marine Lord. Wham was trying to sneak by and just maybe try and snipe a Vil here, but Marine Lord having none of it.
No, he's very well set up defensively. So he was on the front foot, if you will, just making sure he can slow down his opponent, deal a little bit of damage. Wham handled it pretty darn well. Definitely got slowed down a little bit, but we do see immediately going for the play that he was doing very well against Vortex, making the map smaller for himself. So immediately negating one angle of attack, protecting that deer pack as well, and protecting the Uru, the second Uru, and the primary Uru as well.
Yeah, it's a great wall location. I think that's going to really help cut off the map and keep things pretty streamlined for him. Of course, Marine Lord might attack this location, but I don't know, it's pretty far out of the way. The Spearman going to get caught out a little bit by the Khan and his bodyguards, the Torguds. So a few units going to go down here. A little chip damage back for Marine Lord, but Wham probably going to be happy with this as an opening so far. Taken not too much damage, gotten things opened up. We can see a massive units from Marine Lord has moved out. The Spearmen are not at home to defend. They are going towards this wall spot, which means that the gold villagers have to get pulled back. Wham, counterattacking, poking, prodding, but that wall he just built under threat.
Certainly is, and one of the Sipahi here also taking a little bit of a beating. Now, there's a few things that happen there. Marine Lord focused his attacks on the Torguds. Those guys do not regenerate, so that was a nice play out of him. He's going for a Spearman, Sipahi comp, now throwing down the Archers. Now, that is going to be fun for him, seeing the Archers are already out on the map. Both these civs are not scared of sticking in feudal, actually, which is cool, because we could see a situation that both of them stay for feudal way longer than other civs on this map, which is highly unusual. And who do I favor? Well, it's actually weird. I do think that Golden Horde is one of the civs that doesn't get bullied by Ottoman as hard as other ones.
Oh, we have a nice angle here for Wham, trying to find a little sneaky spot with the Hawk now behind. The Scouting Falcon is over that forest, catching eyes of those Archers. A good indicator of when Marine Lord might want to make some sort of move could be when that second Vizier point comes in. Maybe we'll see some Imams, as he has taken some chip damage on a few of these Spahi. Could be the play for him.
Yeah, both these civs are not in a rush to age up. We have a lot of food on both sides of the field. The twin minaret building there gives you berries for absolutely ever, with also extra gather time on them. And Wham, he's the one with a mobile little squad here. They can tank a TC quite nicely, but he does have to be a little bit careful. I think you're right, Winston. I think it is going to be an Imam. Some of these units getting battered and bruised here. And Wham, we have to think about what he did playing Golden Horde earlier in the tournament. He wasn't saving stone for batch production. He was very much about getting out a lot of Torguds with that stone.
And there's a raid onto the woodline as well. The villagers have to wall. Two Torguds have made their way around. The villas take out their shivs and fend them off. Yeah, Marine Lord able to hold there, but that was tight. No Spearmen were there at that location, forcing a bit of idle time, but the wall does hold off Wham's raid here. And now Wham angling for a large attack on the center. There is now an outpost on that gold. Oh, but these Torguds, have they been trapped? Is there a way for them to get out? But meanwhile, on the gold on the front, there's also an attack on the center, forcing some idle time there. But there are a lot of units here, a lot of ways to get torches. Marine Lord forced to make a choice. How will he defend this?
I mean, that tower is going to come in plenty handy here. I mean, those Torguds, I'm not sure they're going to have a way out. They're incredibly tanky units, not too much damage, but all their damage comes from a charge attack. So really trying to utilize that is Wham. And I tell you what, he's actually going to live to see another day. Potentially going to keep those on the field. Oh, but running Archers. Oh, a little bit brutal there, but all things said and done, we have Marine Lord with only 350 resources destroyed for his opponent. Not sure it does include Torguds in that little counter, but I do feel that Marine Lord's surviving what could be a scary stage, and the army he has available is actually very good.
Wham has really walled up a lot of his base to keep things tight and concise in the center, and he's angling potentially for a Castle Age. 8 on gold, not really much to use that gold on except for the age up, so plenty of food income. This could just be a Castle Age behind this, which might put Marine Lord a bit into an aggressive position. He might try and attack this southern wall, which is currently what he's angling towards, but keep in mind, there's still that force from Wham on the field, able to maybe deal some damage back if Marine Lord's too out of position. This is quite far away.
And you've got to remember, Marine Lord is not one that is scared of sticking in for feudal for longer than other players, and he's over here. This is a pretty juicy spot, so a lot of income going on over here. The deer are great, the Ubu's obviously fantastic, and the fact that Wham was caught in this position where it's like, well, I'd love to be able to be left alone and get an age up going, and Marine Lord, look at his eco in the top left. He's gathering a lot, but all those numbers are incredibly low. Now, there may not be a way back home, and I tell you what, I think Wham's thinking about that sandwich, getting that going.
I'm not sure if that's going to work. We're going to have to see in just a second here. Wham looking to maybe defend with some counterattacks, but it looks like he's just going to back off, try and snipe some reinforcements like he did. Aspahi going down on the back here. And now Marine Lord maybe content with the damage he's done here onto that Uvu and just back up. Oh, but he's actually looping around the front. You can see Wham shadowing this army, knows exactly what's going on, and Marine Lord forced to make a choice. He's going to choose to move closer to the gold, deny some resources. No, that maybe Wham is angling for that Castle Age. Marine Lord continuing full production.
Oh, those villagers, though. Oh, getting sniped. One getting sniped, but the others being kept alive. And this wall sort of works a little bit against Wham here, but engaging that without the Torguds. But they're going to come in behind, getting a nice potential charge there. But Marine Lord very quick to turn things around. And now, where's the rest of Marine Lord's army? I mean, this is obviously a big squad that he has, and I do think he has the means of dealing with this. We see a lot of blue to just the left over here, and when Wham sees that, he's going to realize, you're incredibly committed to this, aren't you?
Here's the fight.
And I'm not sure Wham's going to be able to stay around for much longer here. Remember, he committed so much to these Torguds. They are not going to be able to stay alive for much longer. The Scholar's doing a good job healing, trying to focus them down.
One down.
Full. Second one focused as well. That is great play out of Wham denying those. But the Sipahi, they are in great numbers. We have so many in production. Look at those archers. There's nothing to keep them alive, Winston.
The Sipahi are just running down the archers now. The front line for Wham has completely collapsed. He had so many tasks to do with his archers. He had to take out the imams and the Mether. It's just so much to focus down. This is why Ottomans are so scary. This feudal age timing is just so dynamic. Wham might live to see a little bit more time here as Marine Lord maybe backs off here, angling down towards the south again, but certainly a strong victory in the center. If we look at the resources, Wham was forced to commit more units into production, making Keshik instead of going up to Castle Age. His whole economy a little awkward here, but this is all forced by Marine Lord. Marine Lord now with a massive army advantage.
Massive, and he isn't slowing down here, Winston. He's had very few guys on gold here. He's even starting to get some horticulture tech, making sure he can get more wood income just to stay with this, and he's moving a few guys extra to gold now, maybe thinking, okay, damage has been done. Like, if this game does go with you getting castle and I'm so far behind, like, I am bullying you around this map right now. I know that I'm in the lead, and what does he want to do with it? We do see resources for Wham. He's got a lot of food, but not much of the other bits and bobs.
Yeah, he's got a lot of Keshiks in queue, and of course these are these double production, batch production units. So when you see just that number up there, it's going to quickly amount into a large army, but he has a lot of ways to go. The gold miners are once again under attack. Another one goes down. If Marine Lord swings north, there's a whole pocket of economy on those berries that is completely exposed. Notably, Wham did snipe the scouts of Marine Lord earlier, and Marine Lord did just rebuild it, so he didn't quite see this economy up here, and Wham wisely retreating there, but has a counterattack of his own onto the main of Marine Lord. So some very awkward maneuvers here for both players to handle.
Certainly is. I mean, that tower is upgraded, but these Torguds deal pretty decent damage to towers. And I tell you what, that is a number you do have to respect in your base. But Marine Lord, maybe upon realizing that, hey, you've got quite a bit over here, what can I do with that? He's just checking the other deer pack with a good chunk of his army. He knows that food must be limited for his opponent. These Torgud are taking a lot of damage, actually. In fact, are a few of these Keshiks? I do believe so. Yes. So they pack a lot of extra punch, but my goodness, that is a big flock of Ottoman.
Yeah, Marine Lord is very suspicious of where Wham is getting economy, and the answer is he really isn't. He's run back into his base. He's gathering a lot of wood. He's back onto the gold, back onto the hunt in the south, but he's played a little ring around the rosy. Those walls buying him a lot of space to try and keep this together. The military count is slowly recovering for Wham, but Marine Lord's economy is just powering through.
It's powering through, and that supply is just going up and up. I mean, this might be a bit fortunate for Wham, getting a nice little grab on this army, taking out a good 7-8 supply here. Those are the kind of things that Wham needs on his side, but he has a huge army between him and his main base. So is this a one-way journey here out on the map?
Yeah, this could be interesting. The Keshik, Torgut, and Khan now once again rallying into this base. Is there enough units to defend? Not quite. Need more spearmen to hold it.
And you know what's very awkward for Marine Lord about this whole situation? He could be thinking, I want to be attacking you right now. Like, are you taking up with this? This is a lot of Keshik, so that's obviously a lot of gold being used. But he doesn't want to be out here. And you see that blue blob on the map? It's kind of being separated a little bit here, realizing that, hey, you've got a lot over there, and he's being a little bit indecisive. So this kind of like extreme reaction out of Wham being on this side of the map is really throwing Marine Lord through a little bit of a loop here.
Yeah, but that's a big and expensive dive. A little bit of idle time on the gold, but a lot of units have taken a lot of damage here. And now Wham once again retreating. Both the Canadian brothers are quite good, but Marine Lord trying to get the surround here. There is a defensive army, so I don't think Marine Lord is going to choose to stick around and fight this. It does get a few attacks off. Here are the archers now to handle the spearmen. A big battle now brewing in the center.
It is a big battle, and I tell you what, those spears have to stand and fight, otherwise they'll be picked off by all these Sipahi. Now, Marine Lord does not have the healing from those imams to keep this army sustained, but the sheer amount of units that he has available, and he's the one with a lot of guys on gold, he can get pretty darn... Look at that, by the way, Winston. All of a sudden, cancelling all his units, getting the armory out. This is very problematic for the Canadian.
Yeah, and Wham was even trying to continue raiding, but it looks like Marine Lord already has a gate in that very southern wall and was able to escape a little bit down there. Yeah, he was able to escape, pushed off the hunt, though. That was a lot of villagers that were being threatened, but Marine Lord just so calm and collected. Look at that. No villager kills, even though Wham has been trying a lot to raid. The Metter gonna spot out and has no attack. It's just a support unit. He's banging his drum fiercely, but behind it, was it all a bait? The archers are here. The gate is not gonna be open for long. So many villagers go down.
Oh, that is so brutal. I believe a good like 8 or 9 villagers there being popped. And remember, look at all these numbers. They're all in advantage of Marine Lord. And that tech is going to be done very soon as well. Upon seeing that, Wham's not going to be feeling too comfortable. He has to fight this in feudal, and he's got less numbers than his opponent. The Sipahi getting a good wrap around. Even the villagers in the back being focused by that army as well. Marine Lord just got way too much for his opponent.
GG is called. Wham not able to take him down in game one.
Not able to take it down in game one. I mean, we talked a little bit. The fact that Ottoman was allowed to go through. I'm very curious as to what the other Civ choice was to get sniped, but maybe thinking, you know what, this is a best of 5. You no longer have Ottoman available. This means if you've got a Phrygian March set up where you want to pick Ottoman Zhu Shi as Marine Lord, no longer do you have the Ottoman available, so you have to mix something else in to maybe start guaranteeing yourself a more favorable matchup, because AoE 4, and I'm sure AoE 2 is exactly the same, when it comes to a best of 5, best of 7 series, you have to think about the long run in these kind of situations. So getting the first pick and one of the strongest civs out there, out of the way, I tell you what, you can look at that and be like, oh no, I'm 1-0 down, but it's not all doom and gloom for Wham.
Yeah, and we can see here on this post game, just the military value really what sealed the deal. That one fight in the center really did not go Wham's way, and then he did a really good job, I think, of splitting up his cav and trying to distract by time, build his force up. But it seemed that, I mean, Marine Lord was just playing so sharp. Marine Lord was able to handle everything. None of his counterattacks ever killed a single villager.
It was actually really clean. Like, it was good defense. I also like what we've been seeing from primarily these two players. Even though you have a primary comp you want to go for, be it like Sipahi, Archer, and Feudal, we've been seeing these spears constantly eked out. The opening was very aggressive by Marine Lord, having a barracks and a military school. Definitely, I think he caught Wham a tiny bit off guard, already making it a bit of a weird situation. Very often, when you've had a lot of time to prep, it's good to set something up that your opponent has to react to on the fly. But yeah, Wham just couldn't really get a foothold in this game. I think he played well. I really do. It's just Marine Lord's playstyle here, having the Ottoman, just making sure that he has the muscle behind it all and getting the castle behind it as well. It was really clean Ottoman play.
Yeah, and in this fight here too, pulling back the Spahi, the archers just absolutely dominant. The meta even coming in, leading the charge, banging the drums and saying, here they are. And this was essentially the end of the game when this attack occurred. No more food for Wham. And now we move on to our next game.
We certainly do. Yet to know the map. We do have Wham's map picks being Socotra and Front Range. He is still allowed to choose one of Marine Lords if he does so please. And the order in which you do maps can be kind of cool. Because if you force your opponent to pick a map where it's like, oh, I had Iobid planned for this map, and then you select it, and then they can't use Iobid in their initial kind of perspective. So we might see some very funky matchups between these guys, because I dare say most of the time you want to save Tuklak for something like Frisian, but would you be allowed to play it? I mean, Marine Lord is a silly Billy, but you won't allow his opponent to pick Tuklak over there, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's really challenging too. I'm really curious about this HRE pick. I feel like that's got to be the secret sauce here. I think that's got to have to be something that he pulls out to win a map decisively.
Yeah, we've had civs, new civs like Macedonia come in, and what has been one of the big power plays for them, it's been these Age 2 Varangian Guard pushers. Once the hero Radari comes out, boosting everything, you get the +2 armor going. Can HRE fight against that? I mean, they have men at arms, but that high melee armor really does a job on those. I'm with you. I don't know where he's going to be choosing HRE, whether it's going to be Frisian or land map. We just haven't seen it work out for quite some time. And on paper, it doesn't make sense because they start off with a prelate and 6 villies. They should have a super economy compared to everybody else, but something doesn't quite line up.
Front Range is going to be the map of choice. This is certainly a map of maps. We've seen some really dynamic moments. There are these small outposts on the northern left side here where you can capture to get vision and very quickly run out of gold in your main. And at some point you have to stretch economy north, either for food, gold, or both. And that makes mobility-based civs very, very important.
So civ-wise, we've seen Macedonia on this map. We've seen Japan on this map as well. We've seen HRE by Wham himself. Now, if he wants to start thinking about when would he be able to start picking Sengoku, I mean, is it good on Front Range? I mean, it's good on any map, let's be real.
It's good on any map, yeah.
But he has to have a situation where he's not left with like all his good civs and he puts them with, let's say, a Tuklak or a HRE, because then the good civ gets sniped, and then you don't really get to play your best civs. But French is awkward. Like, you'd love to have a situation where you get Mali versus French, but can it come into fruition here? You don't want HRE against French. I dare say the draft might look something like Macedonia, maybe Iobid against HRE Japan. But again, this is all theory crafting here, because Iobid is very versatile. That is good on quite a few of the maps that do remain. Maybe just not Socotra.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be tricky. There's also the French and JD picks, which, I mean, keeping them maybe for Arabia and Frisian. We see French a lot on Frisian. It's a solid civ there.
Zushi is very solid on Socotra as well, and Frisian, and can be played on Dry Arabia, even Front Range to some degree. There are times that you get a couple of berry packs together, having an Imperial official out on that boar. One thing you might want to steer clear of is, you know, not having a boar civ. That looks like a bit of a Malian to me, you know.
And this is Front Range.
It is indeed.
Indeed.
Tell you what, Malian can get very awkward on this map, given that they do rely on gold a lot, and those future pit mines you do start making can't entirely be surrounded. It is Jean. Jean against Malian. That's a brave pick. That is a brave pick.
And we'll see how Marine Lord wants to play it. He's clearly got a plan in mind. Now, these pit mines going to be an essential part of Wham's strategy. This one being in the back means very little to be done about it. It's difficult a bit for JD to aggress hyper early. There's sort of this feudal timing that generally works out in her favor. However, on the side of Wham, do you think we see some Sofa here?
Actually, this map, or rather this matchup.
You want to do Danso Jab?
Donzo Jav.
It's solid. I think it's also good on this map as well, given how the map has spawned for Wham. He's got both gold mines kind of tucked away in the back, and I think that's where the static elements of the Donzo Jav composition is just so good. And yeah.
Well, it's also, if we think about this map and how it's laid out, it's a little bit like a coastal cliffs in the sense that you've got just the like home run straight to your opponent's base, and you can technically, if it's not going to go on for a long time, kind of ignore the mountain range until you hit like the H3s and stuff. Donzo Jav doesn't exactly cost a ton of gold to get going. You're going to be using quite a bit of your gold. He's actually gone for a full surround on this pit mine here. Even the mini pit mine can have 8 houses around it, so that's going to be a lot of income. Bringing in these deer as well, just to make sure that he is absolutely cooking in the resource department.
Yeah, maximum greed, mostly because you can against JD, right? There's no immediate threat, generally speaking. There have been some funny builds with JD, but generally, people just do the standard.
Yeah, and some of the weaknesses for Malian is kind of like early game pressure. I know we've had these builds where it's like you build a tower and it's kind of cool and, you make sure you're not in trouble early on. But Jeanne d'Arc literally has no way of playing aggressive while kind of maintaining your eco early on. They really have to wait until feudal. So that allowing Malian to be super comfortable, you literally spawn with 2 pit mines as well because you have the choice of 2 golds. This is going to be very tricky for Marine Lord. I mean, this was his 6th and final pick. I'm wondering what was vetoed and what Wham was. Maybe he picked both the Frenches and he was like, you know what, getting rid of Jeanne d'Arc is kind of cool. But very, very curious about that one.
Yeah, I think Marine Lord, though, also going to feel very comfortable here. The Knight Archer play, I almost want to say it's one of his signatures. I think when we look back at the S-tier tournaments of the past, it almost feels like he wins games like this so consistently. He's so good with Knight micro, so good with Archer positioning, split micro, making sure everything works well for him. And this is another Civ, I think, where he's just super comfortable.
He is. He's very good with the Knight Civs. He loves his aggression when he gets to do it. Very often, he's not really allowed because when you are the GOAT, a lot of people try and throw you off your game and they realize, whoa, you're really good at defending, aren't you? But yeah, Jeanne d'Arc, definitely. If this game goes on with neither player doing anything, Malian's just ahead. They have a far superior economy. So on Marine Lord's side of things, he's going to have to work and try to get things done early on. I'm just wondering what they're going to be.
Yeah, I'd say one of the hallmarks of Marine Lord's success has been greed. And it's generally when there's these tiny moments where there's opportunity for adding a few farms. A lot of players will be like principled about it and say, no, there's still food on the map. I should wait and get the most out of it. Marine Lord knows, like, I'm okay with a longer game. I think I can squeeze 4 farms here. He won't get super crazy, but just 4 farms here. Then a couple minutes later, 4 more farms. And other players often are sticking on that main food, moving large groups of villagers out, and then that greed ends up paying off later on in the game. Once those natural food sources run out, that tends to be when Marine Lord, he's just somehow up, a huge amount of resources or up a large army, and we'll see what the play is. It looks like we are going to see the barracks opening for Wham with the archer range as well. So this is the Donzo Javelin composition to defend. It kind of deals well with the spearmen, and it can kind of fend off, the knights with the spearmen, and then fend off whatever form of JD is picked, although it is the woman at arms.
It is the woman at arms, so this means that spearmen will have a bit of a rougher time against the knights, and you don't really want to go for the range one just because the jabs can really decimate her, even when it comes to like level 3 Jeanne, level 4 Jeanne, it gets awkward. A little bit of boar trickery going on here. Now, this is Marine Lord's boar, meaning that this is one that you will eventually want to be gathering from. Boars do give you quite a lot more food, and he's out onto it immediately. Wham, by the way, was very, very cautious about getting his second pit mine. He made sure he got his barracks first, his archery range first. This scout was not in position to block it, but Marine Lord does get to see that it is going up at this location, and we'll be like, all right, so that probably means your wood went elsewhere. So can I be as aggressive as I want to be? And he went for a second stable, Winston. We can't forget that.
The scout is actually very low for Wham here and could get attacked, and it is indeed taken out there on that north side. The night charge coming through next to the stone mine, and now Wham is playing blind with spearmen against knights. That's never where you want to be. You want to be able to see where these knights are coming, and I'm curious where Wham is going to build his mining camp.
I love this by Marine Lord. Sending Jean in first, despite being the slower unit, just means
The villager
javelins, the spears, actually hit Jean and not the knight. And you see here, that's that villager being kept alive by the skin of its teeth over there. And this Jean, she is going to town, tanking all those bad lads. And these knights, one does get braced over there, but the other spearman getting caught out pretty darn massively.
Yeah, another cleave coming out from John. The Knights are on their last legs trying to run away. There is access to the AoE heal, but later we'll see if that is an option for Marine Lord to heal up those hurt Knights. Meanwhile, he's just sending John on a war march here against these Danzo.
She has one mission, keep those Knights alive. Make sure your opponent can't get a free one, because those Knights will later be allowed to heal. And we do know that on Marine Lord's side of things, he went very heavy into the Knights. It was a second stable before an archer range, before a barracks, most likely going to be archers, and it was going to be an archer range for him. Moved out onto the boar. One nice thing for Fringe and Jean, being aggressive, it does allow you to take things on the map. And that is your first form of defense. And here, trying to get the charges off. Nice cleave by Jean as well.
Oh, but several Knights going down here. This is going to be an interesting exchange of experience, though, for JD. She's going to get a lot of experience for these spearmen going down. The Knights will go down, but maybe a cost that Marine Lord's willing to pay, is especially this could lead to map control for him. The archer mass building behind this. Wham has opted to not go for the javelins, and now entering the sofa phase of the feudal age for the Malians.
Did he finish his archery range in his main base? That's the question that I'm asking myself, because the fact he didn't make any jabs, they can definitely help. So if our observers can go to that main base of Wham and see if it is still an archery range over in the top left. A little bit higher, a little bit higher.
Cancelled it.
Cancelled it entirely. Now we have an archery range in production, but not having a few of those javelins just to be there for a little bit of tickle damage constantly on Jean, making sure that she can't start regenerating when she's out of combat, would have been very helpful. And Jean, she's already 40% of the way to level 3.
Yeah, and that level 3 is really, really scary. Something that Marine Lord wanted to do this game is get these early scuffles in. He wanted to fight. He wanted to take exchanges where units die, and that is something he just gave. And another boar being pulled. This will be more experience for Jean, but notably kind of pulls it even closer away from Wham, closer to Marine Lord. Not sure if this will come into play just yet. Could be if the middle of the map is secured. I do love how Wham did run around that north side of the map, and he does have vision. That's a setup for the later stages of the game, not relevant just yet, but this first sofa, finding the gold miners of Marine Lord. It has snuck around, a bit of a surprise. It could go down. This could be the first villager going down. Wham finding some damage.
That's already a big deal. I mean, this gold obviously fairly close to being depleted here, but any little advantage you can get eco-wise as Malian, especially when it's been a little bit rough on the trades here, because Marine Lord's definitely traded well. And another resource to think about is obviously the level of Jean. But this sofa over here, when Marine Lord wants to go so heavily into Knights, just seeing, hey, I am doing a little bit of eco damage. May not look big, but it is quite a bit of denial here going on.
Yeah, we've seen both Wham and Puppy Pod do this a lot, and it's just make one cavalry unit, be it a scout and a horseman, a scout and a knight, a scout and a sofa, and he just runs around, and I almost feel like it's a way of keeping you honest. He doesn't want you walling with one villager slowly. That villager will die. He doesn't want random buildings going down on the side of the map. He doesn't want sneak builds. He doesn't want aggressive walls. He wants to know what's going on, and here we have a big exchange in the middle, but that's a lot of Danzo to charge the Knights into. John, though, wants that experience. She's going to charge in first. Get a big cleave, but baited out by Wham.
Now, for Marine Lord, he doesn't want to stick around for that next Donzo shot unless it's a fight happening. So Wham is trying to keep him in combat just enough so we can get that next cooldown shot. It's roughly like 15 seconds or so. So there's a battle here going on between the timers of these Donzos. So again, does Wham want a battle where Jean's going to get a lot of XP? No. But he wants to utilize that cooldown of these Donzos throwing that spear just to make the absolute most out of them.
Behind this, though, Wham has been macroing quite well. He's got up to 12 cattle in ranches. This is sort of the end game state, is if you get up to those 20 cattle and hit the castle age with the corral. We'll see if that comes into play here. Now some big walls going off. Needs to stave off the raids and make sure no damage is taken. So a lot of ills being put on those walls, but a fight now once again in the middle. JD wants some XP. The Knights will charge in, at least baiting out the spears. Backs up, baits it again.
And for those that don't know, when you brace a spear, it takes a few seconds for that to come back online. And look at Jean coming in here. She is just a tanky gal. The javelins do a good job against those archers, splitting up the focus fire as well. The archer count's too low to really deal with this number of Donzos, but Marine Lord doesn't look like he's too worried about that. Just constantly climbing in the night count. And I don't believe Wham's even mined any gold to get all this going. And that probably shows why the javelin counts remained fairly low here. There's no blacksmith upgrade out for Marine Lord. Wham is starting with his +1 armor.
There are two Soph, I believe, on the north side of the map here. Maybe going to spot out where these gold miners are. The scout is indeed going to see it. There's only one knight in defense, but it should be enough with the quick walls here. And that was an important fight we just saw for Wham. He was able to get that whole wall on that southern side of the map, protecting a lot of his eco. There's berries, there's deer, an extremely important element of that. And if he hadn't taken that fight in the center, which did notably give JD a bit of experience, he is at 4/5 of the way there to that next level, which could be devastating at this stage of the game to achieve. Things could get crazy fast if another fight breaks out in the middle.
It really could, because Jean, all she needs is one big fight. But I tell you what, that is so much Malian now. The way that Marine Lord's been playing this, he's been hoping this Malian count wouldn't get as high. Because Marine Lord, he is hoping for one fight where Jean hits level 3, he overwhelms massively, he can start getting those champions out of Jean d'Arc as well that are incredibly good against the Donzos. But the way that Wham's played economically, so much emphasis on the food. He hasn't just relied on the cows. It's been, I am getting the deer, the berries, absolutely everything on my side of things, which has allowed him to go very, very heavily. And it doesn't look like Marine Lord's going to have that window where he can get caught out.
And we see Wham now potentially eyeing up a castle age. He has now put those villagers on gold, which he was able to get away with not doing before. Now he's committed to a big amount of gold. He has 1,000 food in the bank. The cattle bloom up to 16, not fully complete, but close enough. And this could be an interesting position where Wham wants to age up, but Marine Lord still wants that fight in the center. And this could get interesting. The javelins have segregated the archers out onto the north, but the knights have charged around the forest. The Donzos in reserve here. Could be a big moment. That is a lot of knights.
And while this is going on, Sopha denying the gold of Marine Lord. And I mean, this is the one fight that Marine Lord needs right here. He baits the brace. Now we can try and get a charge in. So Wham trying to buy time, and yet again. Oh, Jean, she's getting low. She's getting focused by those javelin throws. They don't yet have +1. Jean is down. No more XP for Jean. Marine Lord has to get out of there because he will get no XP. Jean back on the field though. But this is a big deal because his gold is getting denied by Wham behind enemy lines.
So many knights also went down in that fight. The Donzo mess is just so huge. That early cancel of the archery range into a second barracks. Wham just knew he needed the spearmen here against this composition, and now Marine Lord may be in a bit of a pickle. The Grand Fulani Corral, a huge boost to food income, going to be right behind this.
Marine Lord is in more than a pickle here. Like, he really relied on that fight going super damn well because this game starts off bad, but when that H3 comes online for his opponent, it gets a whole lot worse. The upgrades will come in very quickly for Wham. Right now is the moment that Marine Lord should be in his opponent's base, dealing all this echo damage, trying to really mitigate the army, but Wham played very good with making sure that his weak spot in regular Malian play just wasn't there.
Yeah, and we saw early game, Marine Lord took these outposts along the north of the map in order to have access to raiding if villagers did make it out there. But look what Wham was able to do in all the chaos. He was able to sneak a Vil up to that north side, and he has built a wall there. And now that he's up, Marine Lord basically can't attack and has to look to age up on his own, right?
Yeah, and this Sopha, look, this whole spot is undefended over here. Immediately gets Don's upgrade, gets the Jav upgrade. I believe that is the Jav upgrade. In fact, it might be Sopha, but still, Marine Lord looking to be aggressive here. His army in mere moments is going to be significantly worse than his opponent. But Jean, she's level 3. That is a big deal. He's going to get 3 champions out in the field. They are very good against most of the army he's up against, but here we go. The Donzo's getting nice Jav throws here. The Jav's also upgraded. This is going to be brutal.
Yeah, I mean, Marine Lord just looking for the dive. He's just marching in, but there are so many units for Wham here.
Oh, I love this by Wham. He baited
Jean in the middle.
Jean, she's going to get picked off immediately. That is such a huge power spike gone for Marine Lord, and now, how does he get out of there with all those archers? There are so many Donzos, so many jabs on the field. His army is no longer the big lad on the playground, and even these champions at the back there, they're too slow to get away.
Yeah, it looks like he just wanted to take another engagement, fight with John, fight with the Knights, but it's just not enough. The sheer quantity of Donso on the field is immense. Wham is impending, and this is the doom for Marine Lord. Wham potentially looking to take a game here, and things could get crazy.
They already are crazy. I mean, I don't know how Marine Lord gets himself out of this one. Jean is back on the field, though, back from the dead. The Knight count has been well and truly thinned. That Javelin count has just continued to grow. And now it is Marine Lord kind of chasing him down a little bit. Oh, Jean on the front line, already down to close to half health. The Javelin's focusing down the archers one by one as well. And again, charge is done, but I feel that was a big cleave on Jean, though. And his supply isn't dropping, but neither is Wham's. And look at that, he's got to go home with his tail between his legs once again.
Yeah, the Knight's going to rally in one last time. Jean doing a cleave, but she will go down to the Javelins here. And again, Wham has taken out JD, and Marine Lord on the retreat once again has just enough resources to try and age soon, but it's going to be so far away, and GG is called.
Wow. And I tell you what, in Wololo Grand Final history in AoE 4, this is the first time that Marine Lord has dropped him out.
And Wham is looking so cold.
He's fierce.
Wow.
I mean, on paper, this is a good matchup for Malian, but as was the first map for Marine Lord with the Ottomans. So the first pick civs from both these guys are now off the board, 1-1 apiece. And a little bit of a sigh of relief there. The plan just wasn't able to get going. I was kind of wondering from Marine Lord, like, feeling that there's so many units out and how much emphasis there was on Wham getting the berries, the deer, you name it, just being so focused on having enough, making that one hole, that one weakness of Malian, just kind of too hard to get into. He narrowed the gap so damn hard, and I was wondering how Marine Lord was going to get himself out, because he has to turn a corner at some point, realizing this is not going to happen in this scenario.
Yeah, the economy of Malians here just really skyrocketed as the feudal age progressed, and things just got really ugly really fast for Marine Lord. Wham putting on immense pressure. Even though it looked like Marine Lord was the one attacking, it was because of Wham's setup. It was because of how he was playing. Marine Lord had to force these fights, and at times, you know, we sort of questioned these small skirmishes and exchanges. Granted JD a lot of experience. She hit a decent timing on the level 3, but both times in those fights, she went down so fast, just immediately evaporated to all of these spears being thrown around. The archer micro, really great from Wham here to snipe these down, keeping the Donso in good position, spreading and falling back away from the cleave attacks from Jean. Just impeccable play from Wham, and this is exactly what we were talking about when we mentioned how his path has been in the past maybe just a few months. He really looked like he was a top 4, potentially now the top 1 player, and it's because of plays like this time and time again. He has just continued to improve, and now he's taking a game off of Marine Lord, like you said, unheard of.
In the grand finals, at least, of Wololo.
Yes,
it
exactly.
Really is. I mean, Marine Lord can't be too flustered either.
Mm-hmm.
Jean d'Arc against Malian is very much a stiff matchup to go up against.
And it sounds like we do have Zoe with Vortex, another contender here who was in the semifinals, and he might have his opinion on the game so far.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Please, everyone, put your hands together for Vortex. We've been watching the games up here. And as we went through the draft, you said that the bans actually stood out to you. Can you elaborate on that and explain?
Yeah, so basically in Age of Empires 4, we're kind of used to not global bans, but for this tournament, we do have global bans, which means you are not really banning only what you don't feel comfortable against, but also you are banning ships that, you know, your opponent will also be really good on. So we have, for example, one, he loves Byzantines, but he banned the Byzantines.
Changed just a couple of weeks ago that the players had to incorporate. It changed to the global ban situation, so they haven't had too much time to think about it. But I like everything that Vortex said there, because the civs that are available still having Japan, Sengoku in the mix. I mean, Hatri and Tuklak are obviously a little bit more wild cardy, but yeah, having the first choice civs off the table now. Zhu Shi, that opens it up a little bit, given that Zhu Shi didn't want to play against Malian. French also didn't want to play against Malian. So it's definitely opened up the doors for Marine Lord as well, but it's not as if Wham doesn't have choices to make. And remember, either one of these players going up in the next game means the other one, their life is absolutely on the line in this historical moment.
Yeah, these best of fives are just so cutthroat, aren't they, Demu? It is so tricky to handle that mindset of the score of 2. As soon as there's 2 points on the board, it's match point for someone, right? And I think that's just incredibly challenging to handle. And we're about to enter that stage. We're almost halfway through the series. Things are getting interesting. And I think I caught a glimpse on one of those camera panning around that it is Socotra next. And you've been talking about Zhu Shi. So maybe Marine Lord going to his, 6th and then 5th picks potentially, or some other civs. What are your thoughts there?
This is going to be a fun, if it is Socotra, like Zhu Shi is very much a pick. Macedonia with a very abusive style, getting the fort, or rather the strongholds around, just turning them into arrow towers and whatnot. And honestly, Wham potentially has a few choices available. Even though it is a small map, Japan and Son Goku are pretty darn okay when it comes to feudal. Obviously, the fast castle timing's really good, but Yumi's being cheaper, a lot cheaper as well. But we are loading into the game right now to see what civs these lads have picked here. And that looks a bit like French to me, that does, Winston.
Yes, indeed. French on Socotra is certainly a choice against the Tuglak. Oh, baby.
Okay, this is already cool. This is already really cool now.
This is neat.
If the ball game was to be a thing, French is obviously the civ that wants to do it. But if we look at Marine Lord's side of things, it doesn't look like he's gone for that immediately. Now, that doesn't mean that he won't, because he's French, right? They love to get the meat on the field, the deer, the boar, you name it. Done a good little job of scouting around here, just getting as many sheep as he can, but not putting all his eggs in one basket. Now, he does know that his opponent can't go for it. Wow, look at that sheep counter, by the way, for Wham. So
whoa,
he has been monstrous about getting a lot of food. And I tell you what, Tuglak love to have a lot of food with big chunky boy elephants later on. So yeah, he definitely won a little bit of the scouting game there.
Yeah, getting very good scouting is essential, and we do see the scouts just finding each other. Nothing crazy happening here. These vills are pretty far on this further berry. Ooh. An interesting decision there early on, and Wham going for the Dome of Faith.
This makes me think that Wham is going for something a tiny bit more old school with Tuglak. Yeah. Now, that is funny to say, given that it's only been out for a few months. But when Tuglak first came out, healer elephants were such a big deal. We've seen a lot of people going for these fort plays early on, where they get the food governor, they put it on a gold, they feel very safe. But your gold's all the way at the back. If you do manage to get elephants and some spears out, all of a sudden, French can feel a bit like, hold on a minute, what's happening here? Am I getting bullied? Because they want the food out on the map. And how do you get it when your opponent's playing very aggressive? So already a very different style of Tuglak so far, what we've seen in this tournament.
Yeah, and these healer elephants, right? They have such a snowball effect. And one bad fight against them, and then suddenly they're in your base. They keep fighting. They keep healing everything. And with the right composition here, Marine Lord might not find that much success. We are going to have a quick fort, it looks like, as the follow-up behind the healers. Maybe the healers are sort of a later feudal option.
I'm starting to wonder. This is a very small map here, Winston.
Fort Rush.
It could be one of these things where you get the Amir warriors running out, but I don't want to get too cooked up on a possibility here. But Marine Lord's actually getting this school of cavalry incredibly quick. 5 villagers building up. He did go for wheelbarrow early on, but that is going to be very quick knights coming out for him. Now, the amount of guys that he has in gold still not too high, but he's going to make sure that he's got enough for a good couple of nights when those bad boys do pop out.
This is going to be all about timings, right? Like, these villagers are exposed. There are some spearmen, but Marine Lord's going to have Knights on the field, 2 Knights within a minute, right? It's going to get scary, and it's going to get scary fast to be on the map, and you need a lot of stone for these forts, so I'm curious how Wham is going to handle this. Both stones are forward, so if the plan is to mine this, he better have enough to use it, and let's see how this timing works out. Spearman in production, but already a Knight going to be on the field very shortly. This is what Marine Lord probably wants to be doing, is running this right across. He sees these villagers on the map, and he says, well, it takes a minute to build a fort too. It's not going to be instant.
Yeah, we saw this out of Vortex, where it was like, you know what? I will get a fort eventually, but I make sure I'm going to have some battle units as well.
Yeah.
Wham does have more than enough gold here just to make sure you can get the Spearman upgrade, and you get it immediately as well with Tuklak. One of their things, all their techs take 5 seconds to complete. But a Knight in the hands of the best Knight user we've known in AoE 4 is not going to be easy to contend with.
Yeah, last game we did see Wham lost his scout.
He actually got
pretty early
textiles super fast as the Tuklak.
Oh, that's so smart.
Super smart. So here, Marine Lord might be thinking, as soon as I get a charge, I can then one-shot a villager. No longer going to be the play. And Tuklak is one of the only civs that can get it as quick as we mentioned.
And there's the fort timing with the textiles play early. This does give the villagers a bunch of HP, 2 spearmen in defense. It's hard to, a third one even, it's hard to even see if Marine Lord can deny this. This will protect the berries and some deer.
Oh, so annoying. The elephant there took the charge there from the Knight, so you're going to have to wait for that to come back on cooldown. And now this spearman count is getting too scary to deal with. And this spot here secures the stone, secures the berries behind, secures a little bit of a baby deer pack as well. That is going to be a lot of food available. And already, Wham is dealing with a tricky situation very nicely.
Yeah, that was, we talked about the timing here. It can be really, really tense on these short maps, but this seems very practiced from Wham. He knew exactly what kind of timing he was going for. And now we see Marine Lord moving out to the boar, but there are spearmen on the field. Wham is going to be wise to this play and has the spearmen in position. There is an archer, but maybe a villager could go down here. The Knights are now here on the path to running straight into the spearmen.
I mean, both players have to be so careful here in this early game situation. Wham has set himself up for a nice spot here, and look, not forgetting the food, Governor. That's a big deal, going to be having that food gathered immediately. So far, Wham not missing a beat. Does need stone still. These villagers can obviously stay alive for a bit longer because they do have that textiles available, and just keeping them just alive here, but still not quite enough stone. And Marine Lord's postured himself here in a spot that kind of denies both these stone deposits.
Yeah, but the villagers probably could take some damage here. They have textiles. The fort is there to protect them when they move around to the berries, and a healer elephant is in production. So pretty soon that healer elephant could just march on over to the villagers and heal them up all in a jiffy, just like that, and then make these spearmen also feel a lot harder to kill with just a few archers. Marine Lord will need enough to one-shot, and a dock.
I really love that play out of Wham here. Getting a dock on this map. This is one of those maps where you are on a little island and the golds do tend to be very exposed for your opponent. So being able to just make that a little bit awkward, and if you don't react in time, you can be under a lot of fire with those villagers. So Wham has to balance his eco pretty damn well here. He still needs stone, but he's getting the first upgrade on the fort. He needs wood because he needs the houses and he needs units. But he is definitely setting himself up in a spot here that he can get H3 without taking too much damage. Also, that dock can play the purpose that he can get a galley behind his gold just to make sure he doesn't take damage over there.
I'm actually looking at the minimap demo, and it's going to be very hard for Marine Lord to get gold. He just built a wall, kind of walling off the maybe only inland gold on the map, which is right there. He'll have to add a gate there, and that'll be really close to the fort of Wham, which will be sort of this defensive posturing position where you can push out, fall back, push out, fall back. And as these players poke each other, more and more damage coming through. We do have the healing of Chivalry on the side of Marine Lord. Not yet, but it will be an option. On the side of Wham, though, the healing is much more monstrous.
I'm all of a sudden starting to get scared for Marine Lord. I didn't think I'd ever say that during this finals, but this is getting to a situation here. 2 healer elephants is the magic number, meaning that they can heal the units around them, but also heal the healer elephant if it gets low. He's got to walk this fine line of constantly scouting his opponent, just making sure that he knows what army he's up against and how much of it there is.
And so the next major play here is going to be this arrow ship. looping around the south of the map. It will find the gold. And yeah, this little guy is going to be such a nuisance. Marine Lord moving his army out, just trying to spot what's going on, has a scout in the mix.
And I mean, there is a fort there, so trying to deny any of this food is going to be hard. It really is. This fort, not yet fully operational, but it's not as if Wham is struggling for food. He's really gunning out for a lot of wood here, just making sure he can get anything going that he wants. Marine Lord with his own dock here. And I tell you what.
Let's see the reaction.
Let's see the reaction. Oh, there's a big shot.
No reaction just yet. He does run, but one villager could go down. Oh, everybody lives to tell the tale.
That was so damn close. I mean, the galley, obviously, with the AoE shots here, still some villagers trying to get onto gold, but it definitely slows things down. But galley is produced by Marine Lord. Pretty good timing as well. Can go back to gathering. Now, if you are near a dock, you do regenerate with your boat. So this is not a fight that Wham can stick around for.
Yeah, and it sort of raises the question, do I really want to keep investing in the water, right? Like, there's no fish here. It's sort of a nice, cute play to make this attack, but it doesn't necessarily win the game unless you're able to deny water fully. But the ships are quite expensive, and now it's up to Marine Lord, maybe looking to age up.
And we do have Wham switching to a lot of dudes on the stone, realizing that, hey, I do actually have a lot of wood available. I've been making a lot of archers, keeping the units alive, and this fort is doing a great job securing this location. I do like how he's been walling off the map a little chunk, just making it awkward for his opponent, just if he does want to cross the map. But Wham, no longer mining the gold, actually. I'm so curious what his plan is here, because he's going to start getting upgrades quickly as well. The blacksmith, we do know that the upgrades come in ridiculously quickly, and still he's had so many guys on wood this whole time.
Yeah, third healer elephant even. That almost indicates that he might want to go for an all-in as soon as Marine Lord ages.
And I tell you what, it's
soon.
It's a pretty cool timing. I mean, granted, French don't mind being in feudal for a while, but we do see that Marine Lord isn't truly thinking about sticking around for it for a while either. And this is a very weird game state here. The spring old ship has been made by Wham. Get some nice micro in here. Might be able to get this galley.
He's going to get it.
That's a big deal. So Marine Lord has to have a spring old ship, at least one available, just to deal with that spring old ship. And he's going to go head back home, realizing that, hey, my aggression over there, it's not going to be possible.
We see the scout of Wham spotting out all of the units here. This is critical info. Scout does go down, but he now knows the numbers here and says that's not maybe as much as he was expecting, because now we're going to have that castle age from Marine Lord in just a second. Potentially the Guild Hall, I guess. So Guild Hall is the choice. I think both may have been options.
I will quote the Great Vortex here. Even if Royal Institute feels like a good option, it's not.
Go Guild Hall.
Go Guild Hall every time. Wham really committing to a lot of stone here, by the way. I think he is going to go for a second fort. I don't see why you wouldn't in this situation. He's not close to age 3, and he does have to start thinking about what he's going to do to defend, because it's going to be very highly upgraded units, and he's even getting a demo on his side of things, so maybe thinking about taking this out, making sure the gold situation is going to be awkward for his opponent. But we are in a state of the game that I've never seen before.
Yeah, it's really interesting on this small map. The tankiness and turtle nature of the Tugluck here is really interesting. The night charge comes in, several villagers go down. The healer elephants, not enough. 4 vill kills out of thin air for Marine Lord. A great pickup as he hits the castle age.
He hits the castle, and look at this. Wham was making an immediate tower, and he's like, you know what? I need a fort over here. I need the resources on my side of the map. I need to make sure I am not going to die. Now, there's also water skirmishes happening while the stuff on the map is happening. Trying to wall off with his units. Tugluck do have the same abilities as Delhi. Quickly moving away, making sure he doesn't take too much damage from the archers. They're both handling this situation very nicely.
And 12 archers is enough here, I believe, to handle spearmen one at a time, but not until it might not be enough buffer, right, for Marine Lord. So this fight could snowball in either direction, depending on the position. Wham trying to force the issue and build this fortress, but Marine Lord just diving once again onto the villagers.
Oh, Wham, he can finish that fort. He can finish that fort. I really feel that was a bit of an error there. Could have finished that fort, maybe hopping the village into there. Now he's lost 14 eco all of a sudden, and Marine Lord can't be too upset with how many villagers he killed there. He's got and I believe the demo did win the fight over there in the south as well, meaning he can't gather gold on his side of things.
Right. This is getting interesting because Wham has a really solid army and potentially a position to threaten all of these knights. They could go down. They're going to try and squeeze through. The veteran upgrade is in. The archers just barely tickling them. They're going to go for the quick wall.
Oh,
The units are
trapped him in. He's going to get so many out of this. Look at that. Maybe 2 knights can squeeze out there, but I tell you what, Marine Lord could not afford that to happen.
What a play by Wham, using these bonuses so effectively. And right behind that, the resources for Castle H. He has the map control, he has the army, he still has the healers, so this is going to snowball fast. The House of Learning behind this for a few techs to boost up his army, and this could get interesting.
And we got to remember, like the relics have not been grabbed. There are 2 on Marine Lord's side of the map and 2 on the other, and Wham just utilizing the wall off there so damn well. Knight count no longer scary. Wham can immediately say, you know what, I don't need units right now, we're going to tech up. But Marine Lord would not be Marine Lord if he didn't think about what happens now. We've seen it throughout this whole tournament where he's like very comfortable about making it a longer game if he does so please. And that looks like is what he's gearing up for, getting quite a few archery ranges, I believe, around that keep that he has freshly made, meaning that he's not going to die anytime soon. Was he even thinking about, I think he was thinking about a siege workshop there as well, no?
Yeah, potentially. Marine Lord not going to get punished right away, but Wham now waiting for these upgrades to come in, just needs a little bit more gold. They are pretty expensive, but Vet Archer, Vet Spearman would be critical upgrades for him. Marine Lord able to grab 1 relic at least, even though in theory here, Wham has the map control. Things here are so spicy. This monastery on the front could be a target later for Wham if he's able to maintain the numbers, but Marine Lord, keep in mind, he is now up 60 vills to 38, and there are a couple of passive sources of food on Wham's side, but of course there's the guild hall as well churning away.
Yeah, I mean, that fight was obviously something that Wham needed, and Marine Lord, he's kind of set himself up. He's not in a dire spot behind it because of all the defense he got ready. He's also zooming out archers. I kind of want to see how much he has around that keep right now. Another relic being grabbed by Marine Lord, so just making sure. And yeah, I mean, he has to start thinking about how do I counter the elephants pretty soon, and arbs are a great way to do it, but no arbs yet on the field. This little army that Wham has available does pack a punch in a direct fight, but I tell you what, that's a lot of unarmored units here, Winston.
Yeah, and the Knights could have a field day. Meanwhile, the Archers are upgraded for both players. The Knights getting a charge in. There is the healer elephant, so the little poke damage isn't going to be enough. You have to focus units down if you are Marine Lord. This is such a tight moment for both players. Wham going to try and force the issue after that great pickup on those Knights before he has maybe a moment or two of advantage that he has to make use of.
Yeah, and I mean, Marine Lord's doing such a good job of just making it so if you attack me, you have to come into my base, you have to go into these buildings, and we all know how the units like to attack, but is this the fight he wants? The big daddy elephant out on the field. Not going to be able to deal with that directly. The healing being really good. Marine Lord still has an archer advantage for the time being, but now matched by Wham, who is winning this engagement, trying to thin out that archer count and the spearman count, and Marine Lord's doing nothing but producing archers right now, though he's only got 2 guys left on wood.
Yeah, this is really good micro for Marine Lord, I think, at this moment. He's just been focusing down the units of Wham. The numbers have been thinned out dramatically, and those units were important. You kind of want the buffer for these war elephants. There are now 2 on the field and going to be very challenging to take out until there are a lot of Arbaletrier on the field. There are 10 in queue, but none on the field yet.
None on the field yet, indeed. And I mean, Marine Lord did manage to sneak out that food out of the guild hall last minute there, so made use of a good 800, 900 food immediately. The longer this game goes on for without that guild hall, that really kind of nullifies a good vantage point for Marine Lord. The berries still available on Marine Lord's side of the map, still available in all of them actually on Marine Lord's side. Wham does have to think about how does he utilize this army right now, because those elephants, even though they're great, they are a bit on a clock against the arms.
I'm not quite sure how Marine Lord did it, but he did somehow snag a 3rd relic that he's looping back now. The Arbaletrier, though, on the retreat. The elephants and the archers just charging forward. These more elephants are going to be so challenging to take out. Well, the healer elephants are on the map.
Yeah, Marine Lord actually for a moment there had 0 on food. I think he was really committed to getting all this on the left side of the map, which is very exposed over here. And in fact, there's a big tutback going in this south side of the map, but now we do see, can Wham get home? Can he? I mean, that's so much fire down that back line. One hero elephant does fall immediately. Second one, maybe not going to meet its maker. And Wham, he's using the archers, the range to kind of bait back, get out those elephants out the backside. But can he be taking these fights right now? I don't think so. Marine Lord looking to absolutely take it, but again, so patient with how he's taking these fights, just making sure that Wham has to commit with these slow melee units.
And trying to take these shots very carefully with his ranged mess. He doesn't just want to waste shots onto the elephants until it's really clear that there isn't a better option, because they will just heal up with these healer elephants. Do have a good position for Wham on these berries. Gonna deal a little bit of damage. Might get a Vil pick here to try and neutralize. No, the one to hurt villager able to escape. Now Wham forced onto this gold here, and we do see...
Oh, that is going to be a galley over here. They do have textiles now, so they survive for a little bit longer. Marine Lord fairly quick to react, maybe not going to losing a single villager. And the tower does deal with that galley rather handily. But you can see that Marine Lord's being thinned out a bit. No longer has true food income right now, especially with losing that guild hall. I know he was remaking it, but this is a stressful time for him. His army's not building up as fast as he wanted it to. Is going to deplete this gold in the south, so maybe he can focus more on the right side of the map. But you got to remember that governor with the food is kind of like a little mini Fulani in a lot of ways.
Yeah, generating 300 food per minute right now, and could do a little bit more if one more house was built since the stone was depleted. But on the side of Marine Lord, we have something that I've been saying is his signature all weekend. He's added some farms in. He's found the space to just start macroing for the later stages of the game, realizing that the food is going to run out. He has built a decent chunk of farms, which will somewhat solve the food issue for now. Certainly not enough right in this moment, but with just a little bit of time, with this economic advantage, Marine Lord is surely going to keep crawling ahead.
It's kind of...
Oh, more villagers getting caught.
Oh, and those knights getting a big, juicy hit there. Remember, the eco of Wham is not as good as Marine Lord's. And here, doing the same thing again, just utilizing the movement against these elephants, taking them down one by one.
The Arbalist just getting so many shots under these big tanky boys. Only 3 elephants remain, 1 healer on the map, meaning Wham will have to reproduce those in order to have a large healing force and keep that structure alive. It is so challenging right now for Wham. He is slowly winning the small battle on the water, which could threaten some of the gold sources for Marine Lord, but he does have 3 relics, 1,700 gold in the bank, Sacred Site victory on the way. Marine Lord is looking so inevitable in this moment.
It's kind of cool that Marine Lord managed to grab that relic, not on just his side of the map, but on the other side of the map. Yes. Now he's got Sacred Site control as well. We do see that the crossbow count is getting a lot higher for Wham, but he's still playing catch up in that regard. And whoa, that is such a big, juicy raid here. Look at the worker count on both these sides, 81 now to 43.
He's going to double him up.
And for the first time, I'm looking at the webcam for Wham's face. That was a big sigh there, realizing that, oh my goodness, moving in the chair as well, changing the posture, realizing that even though a few things went right this game, it's still the kind of rolling the ball up the hill, Sisyphus style, against the champ, the king, the Marine Lord.
Yeah, we saw so many attacks from Wham so far, right? Onto these gold miners with the ships and little engages here and there, and still 0 Vil killed for Wham. That is now almost a 10,000 resource collected lead for Marine Lord, even denying the wall in the north while he has his own here in the center of the map. Wham once again positioning, has equal numbers, has a good chunk of elephants, but the massive Arbaletier is now up to 30, soon 36. Trebuchets on the field to start pushing these fortified positions of Wham.
Yeah, this is going to start spelling, I feel a little bit of doom and gloom here, putting a fort up so aggressively as well. I don't know where that first Treb is, or even the Siege Workshop here. It's very aggressively placed. And as Socotra gets smaller, those wood camps in the middle of the map become so darn important. Treb fire underway now. Wham's going to feel that there's another thing he has to worry about on the field.
Well, first blood for Wham on the economy of Marine Lord. A few bills going down here, force a little rotation, but the army for Marine Lord just behind this wood line as well. The elephant's pushing through the gap. This is going to be an uphill battle for Wham potentially, but he's got the numbers. The Trebs are in the way, trying to walk backwards. They're going to tank a few hits. The Arbalist taking out the elephants one at a time. 2 have gone down, 1 has gone down, more will go down. The Knights charging from the side.
And look, Papis is being used on these Arbs as well, meaning that they have extra range armor. Trample being used by Wham, trying to go down this very thin corridor. But look at that arc of pure French power in the back line here. Just range units remaining. And now Marine Lord being so careful with those horsemen and those knights, keeping them alive. And now they can play big, loud, tanky boys in the front line. All elephants fleeing the field here. And the number of Arbs available is tremendous. 34, 6 more on the way, and they're all a lot cheaper as well. GG!
Wow, what a game from Marine Lord. You know, we really looked at Wham's setup there in the early game, and it looked so solid, so good. And then there were just 2 night charges. First it was 4 builds, and then another 10 while trying to build these buildings, build that defense up. And it just seemed like the game was so hard for Wham after that point. Things just got so dicey so quick. You can see how these small, tight maps just favor this aggression so much. And Marine Lord probably very happy to be getting a win with his favorite civilization.
He's done well so far, hasn't he? French against Tuklak. I mean, Tuklak has been kind of a little bit of a dark horse here. We still haven't seen it win, but you've definitely been seeing these little hints of light at how it can be very dangerous. Because if Marine Lord was not able to get some of those villager kills early, or those villagers kept on building that fort and then hopped in, maybe minimizing the losses a lot there, we could be looking at a very different story. It's just Marine Lord's so good about these situations where it's like, it looks pretty rough, but he always thinks a few steps ahead on how to get himself out of it. Farm transition was pretty darn good, even though he lost the guild hall, which is a big food income source as well. Managed to get out the right units, and he was so patient about how he took these fights. I loved a lot of that game.
Yeah, that was a really clear display of both players' strengths, and I'm really excited to see how this plays out. We even saw these little skirmishes early where it looked like Wham really just had the perfect answer to Marine Lord's opening. I really thought, you know, this is the best way you can deal with French, and he made it look pretty simple and trivial. Like, he had the build down, he got the early textiles, things just felt so difficult to attack. But when those French knights charged in, and this pull micro here, I think it's just a testament to the skill of Marine Lord. To somehow not lose any villagers is crazy. You have to kind of shuffle and dodge. It's challenging there. We also saw later he pulled only the Woodvilles back over to the gold mine, not to risk them getting caught again. But this was the game-ending moment, basically, where the lead was held by Marine Lord.
And look, he starts fighting with the villagers. I know they have textiles, but I really feel that that was maybe a choice that Wham may come to later regret, because after this, very shortly after, we had that lovely cage moment. And you don't see that very often. I think this is it, where all of a sudden it's like, boom, there's a wall up. There's a wall up. You can't get out of there. Very nicely done, because you can see every turn these knights go for, you can't go for it anymore. And all of a sudden, Marine Lord was looking like, even after doing all that eco damage, the game got kind of reset a little bit.
Yeah, that might be my favorite play I've ever seen. Like, that might be one of the best plays ever, and we're gonna get it again. Yeah, then we should. This is so cool. So they're able to build these palisade walls with their infantry units. That includes the archers and the spear, and so just pulling out and really getting that great surround with the walls early, that quick wall play, something you see a lot more in H2 than you do in H4.
Yeah, and I mean, that was especially important given that these knights do regenerate. So if that fight was something that those knights could get away with, then come back again just a few moments later, one would have been dead right there and then. But I tell you what, there was water fights going on here, there, and everywhere. So many villagers did fall for Wham. You could really feel that Tuklak was still kind of scary, despite losing 27 vills this game. It really does showcase that Tuklak can be quite scary, but look how much damage these Arbs do.
I mean, it's 37 Arbalist, right? That is a lot of units on the field there for Marine Lord. Crazy, and even as a sacred victory timing right here, he just got everything. He got 3 relics, so there's only 1 left on the map that was on Wham's side, and wasn't really able to grab it.
I also like that he was very careful about, if the war elephants are on the front line, I don't send my horses forward. Yes. He was so careful about it. And you see, even when the spears, there's a few spears hitting, it's like the knights are juking and jiving back and forth. Just very cool play. Out of both of them, honestly. It's not often you get to see Tuklak, but the Tuklak that I've seen so far out of Wham, that was really cool. Because it was a mix as well. It was like the old school healer elephant stuff, but not the all-in. you really saw that he tried to make kind of a mishmash. And it really looked a bit scary for a while, actually, because he was doing it very darn well.
As scary as those like big shining armored statues behind each of the players.
Ah, the looming statues behind them, yeah. Arms of coats, or coat of arms even. But okay. So last pick for both these players did lose. First pick for both of these players did win. We're now left with Sengoku, Japanese, and Hatori for Wham. And we've got Zushi, Macedonia, and Ayabid. Now, if you're Wham, depending on the map, and you have Sengoku, Japanese available, worst case scenario, you will potentially be forced into playing Hatori on the final map. But both these players do have to be thinking about that, because the civs that are left over, Ayabid doesn't necessarily like to go up against Japan. No civ necessarily likes to go up against Sengoku. And we got Macedonia as well. Like, it's a very, very awkward and tight situation. Both these players have got to be putting forward a lot of possible scenarios that they might not want to encounter.
Yeah, the draft is going to be really challenging at this point. You can see both players simply so focused on this moment. This is everything. We're at that magical 2 number, right? This is a best of 5. The next game that Marine Lord wins will be another tournament for him. He is just one map away to do it again, to bring it back.
And then kind of confirming his status as the AoE 4 GOAT if he hasn't done already, right? But still, you got to think, Wham so far in the games that he's lost, he hasn't looked bad doing it. Like he had, as Vortex mentioned, it was kind of a very unfavorable matchup for him with Golden Horde against Ottoman. The second game he played very well, but again, a good matchup for him. And in the matchup that Tuklak, being one of the worst civs on land, he still make it look very formidable. And still having Sengoku and Japanese in your roster, that doesn't feel all that bad. He's just got to be so careful on what he goes up against, because the thing is, if you're Marine Lord and you have Macedonia, Zushi, Ayabid, those are all 3 very good civs remaining. Like,
Yes.
if this goes to the final map and he's got one of those against Hatori, which one do you want? Honestly, I'm spoiled for choice if I'm Marine Lord.
Yeah, and I think that's what could bite Wham here, but I think we'll have to see how that plays out. I mean, Sengoku and Japanese are both just so threatening themselves, though. Those mounted samurais have been the talk of the town as they have just rampaged around this entire tournament, running map after map, and we'll see if that's going to be Wham's Hail Mary here in this next game, as I'm almost undoubtedly sure we're going to see mounted samurai being a key part of this next matchup.
Yeah, and what map's it going to be? I mean, we've still got Dry Arabia. We've still got Phrygian Marshes. Now,
Yeah.
Phrygian, Hatori could be played there. Wouldn't be too bad. Maybe it's one that Sengoku doesn't really want to go for. I mean, it's possible for sure, but Japan also quite likes it. Cheaper barrack situation. And for on Marine Lord side of things, like an Ayabid or a Zushi, Macedonia we've seen used on it as well. Wow, I tell you what, maybe feeling the pressure for the first time in his final career.
Yeah, that was a big sigh there from Marine Lord. Just like a really big inhale, exhale, like a breathing exercise almost, just to really calm down and get focused, get centered. That last game was very hectic. There was a lot going on there. You know, it looked like maybe just one fight in the middle after another, but actually there were skirmishes on the north, the south. The walling situation was wild. The scouting information had to be on point. And those little ship skirmishes matter a lot when it's literally, you lose access to gold if you lose too many ships in a row, right? You have to stay on point with that. You have to keep producing the ships. That is challenging. It really stretches the players to be playing on Socotra. And so now we're going on to the next map, and the mental state, you have to just bring it back in, right?
There's so much balancing you have to do in AoE 4, especially in a game like that. Like the water, the land, the army, the eco, and just thinking constantly steps ahead of what is the next weakness? What is my next power struggle kind of thing, situation that I have to deal with? And it's going to be Japan for Wham against the Macedonian dynasty from Marine Lord.
And the instant barracks, so we got an immediate drush. This is no super surprise when it's Japan. This is something they love to do. An early move out to the hunt with the farmhouse, going to be the follow-up for Wham. Meanwhile, Marine Lord with the Macedonians, what do you think the key to his strategy is here?
This is actually already kind of funny in the sense that Wham's moved out immediately to Dia with Japan, which they don't often do, especially not with the barracks first kind of thing. So immediately going for that means that he's going to have pretty safe food if he does choose to try and get a fast stage 3, meaning that you can then resort to your berries, your deer in your main base. So already thinking about if he gets taken off that food later on or is a bit food starved. You do see here that Marine Lord being very careful about getting a little wall around his gold, so he doesn't want to be, you know, taken too far apart against just a single spearman opening by Wham here.
Yeah, just the one spearman, maybe to force a little bit of a reaction. Of course, Japan gets that cheaper barracks. So it's really not that big of an investment to just get this one guy to go force a reaction. If the gold is out of range, which it clearly is here, it means that there's going to be some spiciness for Marine Lord. He did do that little tiny quick wall, that little tiny wall to force the spearman kind of around into TC range if he wants to get in range. But that is quite the expense, right? It almost kind of compensates Japan for that barracks cost, right? And now you have a barracks and your opponent has some very tiny awkward walls on their gold. So interesting openings from both, but no major damage.
No major damage, and both these civs are civs that, you know, they can hit feudal without too much trouble. We see Macedonia, they can hit feudal, and it's like they don't worry too much about the gold. Yes, it will deny them from silver later on as well. But both these civs aren't strangers to just kind of playing their own game or getting knocked off course too hard. Imperial Hippodrome will be the age up of choice, and that is by far and away the best or the better of two for them, meaning they'll get out those hero units, those hero cav, and allowing him to have real strong map presence without much cost.
Yeah, Wham already has the barracks up, which is going to be very convenient in this matchup, right? You know the Hippodrome is coming, which almost inevitably you're at least going to train one horseman just to say what's up, say hello, and just force some reaction. So Japan being on those hunt, maybe he can stay a little bit longer if he has another spear there or brings his own spear back. He's currently just doing some interesting shenanigans, trying to force some reactions from Marine Lord, make this a little awkward as he's denying the deer.
This is just making sure, making sure that Marine Lord can't get all the deer in one nice little spot here, meaning that the gathering of them a little bit annoying. You saw that on Marine Lord's face as well. A little bit of a shake of the head there, realizing that his closest deer pack that he inevitably is going to want to take is a little bit weird.
Yeah, that spear getting a lot of value there, forcing Marine Lord to just kill them all now and drop them where they were. And now he needs to bring these sheep home. The Kura Storehouse, no surprise, on the side of Wham. He's got the Hippodrome to deal with, but already the spears.
It's honestly, there's not a whole lot to say about the situation right now. Both players going for a very modest age up, 3 apiece, so not massive rush being done there. I'm mainly curious about what Wham chooses to do when he hits age 2. He's got a few choices available. Does he skip age 2 entirely, just going straight for, you know, a fast castle, getting out those mounted samurai? Your opponent, what are his strengths? A Varangian guard push, which could be annoying, but they're not the best against the Yumis because they have low range armor. But Radari have to be on your mind. They have to be. So trying to get to a stage of the game where he doesn't have to worry about those too much, and he's already got the deer outside his base. I mean, the options are endless.
Yeah, that first horseman in queue just going to be a nuisance. Just try and find some damage. Maybe a few more will join. Usually players like to build between 1 and 4 just to see if they can get damage. And then, of course, the Hippodrome Horseman hops out and buffs them up, which makes a nice little raiding force, pretty challenging to handle and deal with. Looks like we're going to see more than just 1 horseman.
Wham's been pretty damn cool about his gold income here. Like, he's getting the berry upgrade here, meaning he can gather berries a little faster, making his workers a little bit quicker too. Those deer very nicely worked on as well. He's got enough gold to get the wood chopping upgrade, which can often be a choice that players go for. Going to get the spear upgrade as well, making sure he's been producing a couple of spears back at home. And Marine Lord going immediately for those archer units here, which I quite like out of him, meaning that you can open up a path, deal with those archers, allow your horsemen to reign free.
Yeah, just has to make a few of them first, right? At least get a few out, so that you can then make more horsemen. Economy is very small at this point, and we do see a push out to that hunt on the right side. Looks like a big chunk of villagers, so enough for 2 towers. Probably 2 outposts need to be built there in order to protect them. We'll see if that is the play of choice. I mean, nothing super aggressive from Wham, so maybe could delay those, but at some point you like to protect them, and that's a lot of vills going to the hunt.
It really is. A spearman here, sat on that gold, kind of hiding there behind a villager. Now Marine Lord's food income will be sorted. Going to get a wheelbarrow just to make sure his own villagers can move around a nice little bit quicker here. And no damage is able to be done on either side. Wham does have a lot of food available. Is going to start trying to get a tower on this goal. Granted, this is quite a bit later. Going to use these villagers over here to gather the stone. And I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to put down an immediate house next to those deer, just to make sure he doesn't need to build a forge over there. It's a smart play.
Yeah, some interesting maneuvers there. Some nice macro. The horseman going to come in, try and do a little poke. The one archer there could be a nuisance.
That one archer is actually very quick for Macedonia. Very often it's not one of the units you make immediately as this Civ, but there are horsemen being produced by Wham. On how many stables, I wonder, because he has had a decent income that up until this point was left untouched for the most part. Wait a minute, he's still got those villagers on the stone there, so maybe thinking about getting a daimyo up and running?
Just without building the forge. I mean, the forge isn't that expensive, but I guess maybe just trying to save what he can. Every resource must be spared. It's a long haul, though. That is a big walk time.
That is a big walk time indeed. And if archers are on the field and horsemen, what's good against all that? I mean, you could say your own horsemen, especially with a Uma Bannerman, but I'm very, very curious about how Wham's going about this, because this feels like it is going to be a fast castle, but he's kind of just done what he did in the Malian game, where he's just made sure that he's not super weak getting there. And I think against an aggressive Civ, that's a smart choice.
Yeah, I would love to see maybe a wall on that north side to try and like rein in some of the potential Hippodrome raids, because he is getting the first Daimyo Manor and has upgraded that outpost on the stone. But now the archers under attack from these horsemen, not going to be the biggest deal as the spearmen are in position to defend. Marine Lord looking good to hold his own hunt as well.
So seeing that it's horsemen being produced from Wham, and that was the first time that we saw them, Marine Lord is like, you know what? I'll get horseman armor over here, making sure that all my units are tanky, because I don't think this game is going to end anytime soon. So that's an investment in not only his horses now, but the Radari later. And yeah, you pointed it out to me. Wham is looking like he wants to get that castle going.
Marine Lord not too far behind, but he has spent a good chunk of his gold on these upgrades recently. Just now getting wheelbarrow. Only 5 on gold means that his Egypt will be a good chunk later. It will probably be the Golden Horn Tower in a solid position, maybe buy those hunts over there to try and defend that, maybe near the main to get the second gold online. Not quite sure.
Those two big golds aren't that far apart in the center of the map. That could be very annoying.
Ooh.
And Wham was very quick to pull those villagers off deer way earlier to get that stone. Just thinking about the possibility of them getting attacked. Oh, but this is quite a few
let's get the surround. We'll take one vill down already.
Yeah, that's really nice by him, and gets the villager off the gold, slowing down the potential of getting an H3 quicker as well. This is all nice by Wham, because we do see resource-wise, he's also being slowed down, using the other villagers to body block, keeping that low villager alive, and immediately, boom, starts throwing down the landmark, and that is something that Marine Lord did see, but can he do anything about it? He's looking to get his own castle. He's not got the units out to deal with it. He's just got to play catch-up, knowing that he's going to be behind on that front.
Yeah, an interesting moment there. Both players, horsemen, getting a little bit of value. Wham obviously getting that one villager kill is a huge boon to his setup at this time. Now, the gold's still a problem for Marine Lord on the stage. It does have the food, but not the gold. And once again, the gold is attacked. Wham somehow finding the right spot here, delaying that Egypt again. And the villagers are just sent back into the grind of the 4 horsemen, going to be forced to retreat, but so much idle time. That Egypt is so delayed.
It's so delayed here, Winston. Those guys wanted to have that Egypt already going. So the fact that they've been slowed down and these horsemen are just doing puppy paw and Wham things, being there, being annoying, wasn't a massive commitment, and now Floating Gate online. What is going to be the unit of choice? Most likely Mounted Samurai, I am guessing, and it is going to be Mounted Samurai, and they're going to be getting boosted from that Yashiro.
We talked about it during the draft and right before this game. The Mounted Samurai have been such a dominant unit in recent times. It's a knight that just does a little bit more, and that little bit more is so important in these fights. Now, there are Radari on the side of Marine Lord. He has opted to place this Golden Horn Tower to defend those hunt patches on the north, which leaves the gold on the south exposed. This is going to be a very difficult position to defend now, because the base is kind of obvious to attack. We see the Bannerman here too.
And you got to remember, this is a Bannerman that just hit age 3, so this is going to be quite a bit stronger. Going to try and take down as many, but no villagers falling yet, but still, Marine Lord needs gold. Those Radari are incredibly expensive.
Has he not scouted that corner gold on the far right of the map? It is kind of behind the Golden Horn Tower. He does see it. Maybe he's just thinking he can defend this position with army, but the Bannerman is still here. He has not sent his units to defend it. A villager could go down in Will Wham with 2 Vill kills on the board and a lot of idle Vills for Marine Lord.
And look at Wham, by the way, already adding on Onimusha
Very early.
by him as well, realizing the potential threat of those very heavy armored Radari that will be on the field. Marine Lord doing a little tip of the head there, realizing that something bad happened, and yeah, there's another samurai in his gold. Wham being relentless with his harassing that gold, slowing it down.
Yeah, I mean, both Wham and Puppy, I feel like this is quickly becoming their signature. It must be a key part of their practice is just moving individual knights around the map. We talked about it earlier in the Malian game. That one sofa felt so key to distracting Marine Lord, keeping him on as several knights were always running around chasing these raiding cavalry, and other players sometimes raid with more units, but the Canadian brothers get so much value from just the one.
Yeah, for a moment there, I was like, doesn't Wham have any relics? So he's been utilizing a lot of his resources just to get out as many units as possible to do all this slowing down. But he has gathered one of the relics that was a little bit tricky to get and brought it back home, just not yet with a monastery. So you can really tell that a lot of his focus here is just making sure that he's out there slowing down his opponent however he can. Now he's starting to expand out on the map a little bit. Very aware that his opponent can get relics.
Marine Lord, now that he's in the castle age, starting to diversify his army, grabbing relics as well, adding in those crossbowmen from the Golden Horn Tower will kind of help round out this composition. And once again, with the addition of the Onimusha, the gold villager walls are no longer enough, as they can simply shoot over this gold mine and hit the villagers. And Marine Lord once again idle on the gold, wondering if that gold on the right just isn't appealing at this time. It could relieve so much pressure, but Marine Lord so good at these reactions, but 3 vills down is so challenging in this moment. And now a big forced fight by the Mounted Samurai. They're going to get an interesting engagement here, but there's so many spearmen from Marine Lord and a few crossbowmen as well. The Mounted Samurai trading some HP and a few of their brethren. Not much on the other side of things.
I'll tell you what, I don't think Marine Lord's going to be sad about that one at all. The relic was snagged in the north, by the way. I think the Radari kind of... Oh, there's a monk over there trying to grab it. So that monk on a journey to absolutely nowhere might quickly go for the sacred site in the middle over, or in the north over there.
Goodbye.
Radari here, trying to get the Wololo going. Oh, I thought we were going to hear it in the crowd then for a second, but Marine Lord now feeling that his moment of being a little bit strong is now. He's got the range upgrade for his units. The crossbow count is going to start getting higher very naturally from that Golden Horn.
Yoink.
Boom, he's going to bring that one back home.
There's Onimusha though, so even if you block with your own units, the timing isn't going to work out for the Wololo here, I think. Yeah, down it goes, but it is a little bit closer now to Marine Lord. We have a good old-fashioned tug-of-war for the relic in the north.
Yeah, I wonder what the Yashiras have been placed on for Wham, by the way, because now he's got 2 relics in a monastery. We do have it on the archer range second. What's third one? Most of the time it's on like a gold, or it was in the past, but yeah, TC can be a very good option as well. Getting so many resources, and he's been free from getting harassed this game as well, which is really nice for him.
Yeah, this game is just building up the tension here. The players trying to angle for little tiny advantages, nothing major yet, but we are, I think, brewing towards another clash over this relic. Both players with a monk heading for it. They're like, I want it. No, I want it. Give it to me. And now both players checking to make sure the other hasn't. There's this really annoying forest here that's sort of blocking the vision.
Marine Lord's been very different about the upgrades that he's been getting, by the way. A lot of players really focus on getting those Radari through and through. Marine Lord getting like infantry armor as well. Now focusing on the range upgrade. So being very good about reacting to what his opponent's making. Are spearmen great in this situation? You bet. Because they're good against the Onimusha, good against the samurai. Trying to keep alive these villagers with a Wololo. will be able to do so for a little bit of time, but that's a lot of low health villagers over here, and that samurai smells blood, and whoa, lovely block there with the villagers, just making sure that samurai cannot get through.
Great micro again from Marine Lord to mitigate the losses, but once again, Wham finding a way onto that gold mine. It feels like a tale as old as time. Marine Lord must be a little annoyed and peeved by it, but he doesn't seem shaken as he's been able to nab that relic yoinked back again by Marine Lord, and the Mounted Samurai are like, wait, where'd it go?
Yeah, kind of funny that Wham went this long without getting any sort of upgrades. Now he's going for double upgrades, getting the Daimyo level 2 as well, meaning that he will be able to add more bannermen. We do see a pretty big switch on the archers by him. There are still quite a lot of spear on the field, but right now the army that he has available isn't really meant for dealing with this number of those Macedonian spearmen, and that number's getting higher. The Yumi count, though, also getting significantly higher here.
Yeah, and also the Mounted Samurai count is scary here. That exchange did trade a few of Wham's units, definitely in favor of Marine Lord in that exchange, but it just seems like the Mounted Samurai count is still a big fear. Up to 9 crossbows from the Golden Horn Tower and 21 headgear for those spearmen to hold that front line. It's gonna be tight here. If Wham does decide to take this engagement, it will be challenging. He has the superior units, but does he have the numbers to handle? Marine Lord just charging down the center of his base, will go for this outpost, forces the charge from the rear. The Atgear will get a few kills on the front lines, but the archers now exchanging fire across the front.
And I'll tell you what, Wham is like 20, 30 seconds away from having 2-2 done on his range units, which is a big deal. Keeps the samurai alive for a lot longer. Nice range focus fire by Marine Lord, but I tell you what, there's so many mounted samurai here in the face of his opponent, keeping alive all these Yumis. The Yumis focusing down the crossbows on the back line as well. Looks like it's going to be a cleanup from Wham here, dealing with a lot of the army. A nice runestone gets popped, meaning that all these range units deal a lot of extra damage and movement and range, but there is just so much Wham here.
Yeah, but now there's crossbows still in the retreat. They have the movement speed from that Hippodrome Radari, which is boosting up all these infantry units. The Mounted Samurai numbers are thinning. There was a quick raid from Marine Lord during that fight. He did find 4 villager kills for himself, but once again, he has 15 idle villagers, probably on that gold mine, maybe from another raid from Wham. Things are really heating up here as the cavalry now charge, force Marine Lord back across to his base, hightailing it home. Will the reinforcements be enough? The Golden Horn Tower is just beyond our sight here to the right. It will provide a moment of respite for Marine Lord after maybe a pretty successful attack.
I think it wasn't bad for him, you know. Like, he wanted to get more done out of that, obviously, seeing that upgrade timer. But thanks to Japan having forgers, be same as blacksmiths, he was able to catch up on those upgrades incredibly quick. And now, the special weapon in Marine Lord's army, which was those spears, have been well and truly countered by the number of Yumis that are available. And look at the income at the top. We do see that Wham's income across the board is just quite a bit higher than that of the Macedonia.
Yeah, but he's just currently slurping up this deer pack on the left of the map, once again forcing the issue on this gold, but Marine Lord is nowhere to be seen. He's already added a few of those greedy classic Marine Lord farms in to try and get the scaling going early. These Mounted Samurai are only going to find a single spearman for their trouble.
And I tell you what, having those or rather barracks also be towers there, helping with the defense a little bit, but natural food resources definitely being diminished here on both sides of the map. We're going to have to start thinking about transitions. What do they go for? Marine Lord has 800 silver stacked up here, thinking about most likely a tier 3 archer upgrade, which would allow that back line just to fire that little bit stronger.
Things are getting interesting here. Wham adding a bunch of farms in of his own, has now added 5 naturally. Of course, there are the Kura Storehouse farms, which are a nice advantage for him in this situation, but you can see the macros are picking up the players, angling for a bit of a longer game here as both players just try and hold their eco. Maybe Marine Lord happy with the damage he dealt in that last engagement.
Yeah, and I tell you what, even though Wham was quick to start getting the relics, Marine Lord didn't skip a beat either. Grabbing 2 of the relics, he did hold that sacred site at the north as well, just getting any sort of eco grab that he possibly can. But I dare say in the next couple of minutes of this game, Wham is going to look to utilize this big spike of food income that he has available for the time being, because those berries and deer are not long for this world. Even getting a second TC behind this.
Yeah, this game could go the distance here. If Wham isn't able to take a really decisive fight, we could just be looking at a bit of a macro play. Of course, Marino needs to make a move onto the map, probably to decap some of these sacred sites. Could maybe just split off the single cavalry. I don't know how much Wham feels that it is a win condition at this moment, more than just it's nice to get the gold.
Ringlord did go for the +2 armor on the cavalry, meaning these Radari are again getting stronger and stronger, still adding on a bunch of Radari, a bunch of spears as well. The armies are going to be very awkward to micro against because both of their archers don't really want to be shooting the big chunky boy samurai type units or horsemen, but that mounted samurai count here over here, Winston, 22 and growing. Also, the Onimusha count doing a very good job of seeing the army and responding to what he's making and making the appropriate counters.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to get really awkward for Marine Lord, right? Like, what units is he going to make? He just needs a lot of them, right? He's not producing anything right now. He clearly, maybe he doesn't know what to make. Maybe he wants to try and sneak in an Imperial Age if his opponent isn't going to attack. But now a little skirmish across the middle. The archers are firing back and forth. The Sacred Site going to get decapped. The Mounted Samurai looking to angle for an engagement. The Radari are just going to commit the Atkir behind it, and Wham is going to wipe this fight.
He certainly is. He's got so many mounted samurai here, just wrapping around to that back squishy line, taking out the front line very handily indeed. All the Radari swept off the map. Those archers running for their lives. They do no damage whatsoever to these units, and Wham takes a 30 supply lead here. Even the slow crossbows, the spearmen are going to try and do what they can. Quite a few in that back line there. But Marine Lord's food income is not there. It is just not a level playing field. You see a lot of farms being produced, but I tell you what, Wham is not going to let him breathe or get the opportunity.
Yeah, he just placed all these farms here, and he just lost the fight in the middle of the map. Wham just charging down with the Samurai. The Akir making the last valiant stand. Will it be enough? Surely not. The number is just there for Wham, and GG is called. We are going to game 5.
This is awesome to see. This man right here on the camera, the only person in the history of AoE4 to not just take one map off Marine Lord in the final of Wololo, but 2, bringing him to match point here. It's all down to one game here, Winston, and I tell you what, these players will be feeling the nerves in front of one of the biggest audiences they've ever played in front of.
Things are now tense, and we have to look back at the draft because we have 2 civs left on the final game, which means that you can essentially snipe the opponent's civ. So we could just see Wham playing HRE. Not one of the strongest civs coming into this tournament, but he picked it with confidence in the semifinals.
And it's going to be Frisian as our final map as well, I believe.
What a crazy map, too. We've had so many incredible Frisian games this game, but let's first take a look at some of these replays. I feel like Wham got so much tempo from those raids on the gold mine.
I mean, honestly, the amount of gold that he denied there, slowing down the H3 of his opponent many times. The food was there, but the gold wasn't. Just needed one more drop-off, but Wham somehow just knew about it. Some of these fights look like they could have been a bit close. You see here that Wham doesn't want to truly engage until those upgrades are done, just trying to utilize the range, getting the charges in here, there, and everywhere. Once they came in, though, he's managed to hold this army back.
Yeah, and I think Marine Lord was probably happy with this engagement. He was able to pick off a few bills in the north there with the Radaris. And, I mean, it kind of looked okay here. It just, as the game progressed, he was sitting on like 1,000 resources and just took a fight in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, this was rough.
This fight. Like, he just started to produce as this fight took off. He had nothing in queue when he took this engagement, maybe overestimating his position here, but Wham surely didn't miscalculate at all. He knew he had the lead, and he just took the fight. He said, "You're offering, I'll take you up on it."
Yeah, this is one of those situations where Marine Lord could have been assuming that his opponent was actually doing like a farm transition while that was going off, but we saw how committed Wham was to getting all that wildlife off the map, all the berries as well. There was still like a boar in the south there that could have been Marine Lords potentially, I suppose, with Macedonia. They can mine the boar, right? Gather the boar? Yeah,
oh,
okay. I just think that it's been a long AoE4 series when it comes down to it, but yeah, I think that's something that he thought about. And Wham wasn't like super greedy in that regard. He was also getting farms in the mix. He got a second TC behind it as well. Wham was not like, you know, honing in on finishing the game right there and then. He was also thinking a few steps down the line, and it just felt that once he got the ball rolling, it was forever sliding downhill with Marine Lord sitting there ready to take it at the other end.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a moment here as players get ready for the next game. What could be going through their heads at this moment? I mean, Wham looks the same as he did at the start of game one. He looks so calm. He looks so prepared for this moment. He is rising to the challenge, to the legend of Marine Lord in these Wololos.
This is tough because Marine Lord, is he going to want to play Sengoku on Frisian? Actually, of all maps, that might be one that Sengoku doesn't thrive on. Whereas Hatchery, of the maps, they can play it, but these civs are just in two totally different leagues. So both these players do have to think about things. Which civ is Wham going to consider going up against his Hatchery? Zushi's kind of a rough one. Iabid, very rough, actually. But yeah, you can see that both these players under a lot of pressure here. They brought each other to the finish line. But which one is going to be the one to take it all home?
I almost have to feel that Marine Lord is going to snipe out Sengoku here. I think it's inevitable, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's inevitable.
I think you snipe out Sengoku. I mean, Frisian is a map where there are battles potentially everywhere. And if you have the ability to have the fastest horseman and samurai in the game, you don't want that. You really don't want that. Even if you've got like Iabid or Zushi, I think you get yourself out of that situation. So if he is against Hatchery and he's got Iabid or Zushi, I still feel that is in Marine Lord's court there. But again, you know, these guys are both better than me. And I mean, Hatchery, it being this kind of wild card pick, and this is one of the better maps for it, you got to be a little bit worried if you are Marine Lord about that as well.
And he's taking just a sip here as everyone's just preparing. A shake of the head there, clearly thinking about that last game maybe a little and just disappointed, knows he is kind of expected to deliver in these moments, and that was tough.
It was tough, but Wham looking pretty calm and cool. I feel the pressure is a little bit on him, you know, because if he has gone for this weird pick here that he might be forced to play, I just wonder what he's going to pull out, because in the semifinals, it did not look too great for him. Granted, it was going up against Ottoman, and nothing looks great against Ottoman, but he's done it. He's got to the final, obviously, and down to the final map as well.
And look at all those beautiful people in the crowd. Can we get it up for game number 5 in just a moment? Yeah. And then right after that, we'll be live with AoE 2 Grand Finals, Hera versus Leary. So things are just getting great here in Londinium.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those AoE 2 fans out there, very often in StarCraft, when we have like a, you know, a bit of a lopsided semi-finals where it isn't the best day, we always know a great Grand Finals day is going to happen. And I hope it's going to be the same way later for you guys. And if this series is anything to go by, you're in for a good one later on as well.
Oh, yeah, and you can see Wham still just, his facial expressions have not changed yet.
Iceman.
Iceman. Ooh, that's a cool nickname. Is that it now? Is that what we call him?
Iceman. Has a nice big polar bear as well.
Ooh.
Man from Canada. Lots of ice. Who knows? Who knows? Ooh, and we're going to get right on into it. Final map here for the Age of Empires 4 finals between this man spawning over in the top as our Iabid player. It is Marine Lord. And then the camera switch, but over to the left as our Red Hatchery player. It is Wham.
Yeah, and we saw Wham pick it. I mean, Hatchery has been used on Frisian in the past, so this isn't such a crazy pick. It's been used. I think it's fallen out of the meta since the last DLC, where Civ's kind of shifted up and really changed how it goes. The map has also undergone quite some changes. The meta has gotten a little bit faster. Previously, the Aachen was like a decent option on this map, but it's just a bit slow. Now players may be opting for the mind work from the HRE here, and we'll see what Wham's doing, because yesterday he went for the Aachen and it just did not look that great, but maybe it just wasn't a good showing. Maybe it was a matchup issue. Maybe Vortex just had something great for him in that match.
Oh, what's that? Is that a scout going across the middle? I was starting to think there for a moment it might be a villager going for an aggressive barracks, but no, it won't be. So of these two civs, Wham kind of knew he was going to be forced into playing Hatchery. So he said, I don't want to play against Zushi, I want to play against Iabid here. So even though Ibid do have cheaper docks, what don't they have that Zushi have? The ability to play a Dark Age game. They don't want to be making a barracks. It slows them down way too much. What are also they potentially weaker than Zushi at? A feudal fight. Like when you've got Zugnu on the field, that can really be a bit of an imbalanced situation, and it is going to be a barracks early on. So already thinking about these things, Marine Lord will try and get up maybe a few docks, but he has to realize as well that he doesn't want to take that early fight in the Dark Age and maybe thinking, well, if you are going to be going to barracks, that is very, very likely. I don't really want to overcommit to the water because then I'm just behind and losing all my docks.
Yeah, it's probably expected here to see the barracks from the HRE. It's a pretty nice opening for them. We'll see if Marine Lord Scout is able to spot this. It is now moving around past that dock. This is a critical moment for his Scout. He'll see the canceled barracks, and that might give him some indication that something could be up, and surely he's about to spot the barracks from Wham here. And he does.
Yeah, no gold being mined from this base. And Marine Lord probably thinking, you know what? I'm very happy I didn't go too greedy here. Because right now, we see he's not gathering wood at all. Or he's just switching to it. But he's got enough food here. So taking those guys off the sheep there. Did not go for the mill. Just realizing, hey, I'm not going to commit too much. Going for the reinforcement wing over here, Winston. That is cool. That means he's going to be able to produce Desert Raiders for free. Granted, one at a time. And pretty few and far between, but still, that's going to be able to deal with these spearmen pretty darn quickly.
Yeah, and just getting a few of them for free leaves your macro open to a lot of things. You can kind of do as you wish. On the back of it, you can make, sometimes you can go for a stable and add horsemen. You can go your own archers or spearmen as well. Things just sort of are flexible when you have these units to deal with this early aggression. The timing is a bit awkward at times because it does take a while for Ubits to age up and then a while to get that first reinforcement out. But once you have it, the spearmen should be no issue. Wham has decided to stop at 3 spearmen, which is just enough to be pretty dang annoying against that dock.
Pretty dang annoying. Now, his Scout is in the main base of Marine Lord, so we'll be able to get good vision on which wing he's up against. And these players are so good that seeing that wing over there, he knows it's a military wing. Now, that could also be a blacksmith wing, which has been getting a little bit more, play time and what have you, meaning that, hey, a feudal fight could be among us. But those Desert Raiders will be able to be on the field very quickly. I'm not entirely sure about the Desert Raider choice here, but this is Marine Lord. I'm not going to question him.
Yeah, he has a lot of strategies for a lot of situations. I wonder how much this matchup would have been practiced. I don't know if this matchup on Frisian was in the practice rotation for either player. Maybe Wham knew this was an option, but as we said, with the draft changing so recently, it might just be that this is starting to be some pretty quick on-the-fly strategic decision-making, because what can you do? You can't plan for everything. There are simply too many matchups, and we might be in for some real spice here. Things could get really crazy really fast as, yeah, we're probably not going to be going by the book very shortly.
No, we've got to wait as well and see which age up Wham's going to go for. Because, Marine Lord's cards have been revealed, but Wham's still yet to age up. Going for that second dock, does now have the gold available, and it's going to be a mine walk here. So that means he'll be able to get upgrades very quickly. 7 upgrading it as well. Going for some power docks. That dog could be a real thorn in his side if it starts attacking that worker as well, which it does.
Oh, the wolf on the ville thing. Oh, poor Wham. That villager just has to run super far away to get the wolf de-aggroed, and the Scout pretty happy with that moment.
It definitely will. And there is a Desert Raider now on the field, meaning that where is that guy actually? Coming over here just to secure this dock. Another villager has been moved out as well. Remember, Ibid docks are significantly cheaper. Wham does have a few units out in the field. And he must know that this is a potential for a play as well.
Full Desert Raider.
Full Desert Raider.
Full Desert Raider against HRE, which I think it actually works pretty well against the mine work. Now, there is the follow-up into archers for HRE, which might be the play, but the Desert Raider just does pretty well against, I mean, he got all pikes. It's just so good.
So the thing about mine walk, it's not necessarily going to be for owl pikes. It's going to be about getting archer upgrades very quickly,
yeah.
I'd imagine. And if you're going for archer play and you've got a bunch of Desert Raiders, you can then go into very quick horsemen as well. So the way that Marine Lord's playing, it's uncomfortable to go up against. It's awkward. It's weird. Now, it's all about how fast these guys scout each other out.
The villager has been pretty low. He will go home. He will go home indeed.
No kill on that Villy. Lives to see another day. Does head back home. But that does definitely slow down dock play and dock production. So right now, Wham, leading on the eco front, is going to start working on some upgrades as well, getting lumber harvesting going. He's got the docks going as well, faster than his opponent. And these are just some of the things that can be very helpful for you as a HRE player. Because again, are you going to be happy about this situation? I'm a bit worried for Wham that no units are being made just yet. And Marine Lord does have 5 Desert Raiders out, 2 Horsemen and more. That's going to be That's a risky play. That is a very risky play.
This is a risky play against the Desert Raider Horseman combination of Marine Lord, especially as he seems to have tempo on the map with the mobile units. He is both defending his dock villagers and denying the docks of Wham at the same time. Is Wham, does he have a potent strategy here? Hiding a villager in the south here, HRE, does it just have the chops to keep up with the Ayubids here? Marine Lord looking solid in this opening so far.
Yeah, and I mean, the army he's gone for as well is very awkward. It's very mobile as well. Like, the fact that you have those Desert Raiders on the field means that Horsemen are going to be far less effective. Yeah, your Spearmen as HRE are faster, but getting an army out to deal with this and stop this dock bleeding, it's going to be hard.
2 stables from Wham.
Getting Owl Pikes will be, like you talked about it earlier, getting Owl Pikes for the Horsemen is also going to be a pretty nice deal. We'll kind of negate that camel debuff a little bit.
Yeah, but the Desert Raiders against Horsemen,
they do a lot of damage.
Melee a bit, and they do take a lot of damage back, but they deal so much damage on the front. If Marine Lord feels like he has the numbers, he could just go for the throat here. The economy of Wham, he's massively invested in these pawns just recently. Remember, we're just barely tickling the feudal age here, and the Horsemen, for both players, going to clash over essentially the last 2 docks of Wham.
Yeah, this is really a lot of mobility out of Marine Lord and a lot of firepower as well. Having this big switch where you can make them go range or melee to take down the docks much faster. And all of a sudden, that eco advantage that Wham did weasel himself out here, kind of diminishing. And on the other side of things, it does look like Marine Lord has been spreading docks. There is a little red blip on the minimap that might be looking around to deny and see what he can do. But already, I feel that Ayubid is doing a good job of just being the bully.
That sneak Vil that went to the south, I think Vil to Housen has now gotten up 2 docks, and we'll see if Marine Lord scouts that. Typically, he's very good at keeping on top of that, but right now, I believe his scout is in this main army, trying to spot when the Horsemen and the Spearmen engage. So Wham trying to play it sneaky, trying to get some advantages elsewhere on the map because he knows he can't hold his own base right now. Marine Lord just going to take more and more fishing out of the equation for Wham, and he's forced to rebuild it on the back of this. The Horsemen going to clash here, but the...
Oh, I mean, this is really nice out of Marine Lord. They're both trying to utilize their units as good as possible.
Whoa.
Fighting out in the open, though. If these Horsemen get a wraparound so the Spear can get on top of these Desert Raiders, that'll be brutal. Lovely focus fire out these Desert Raiders, utilizing their very quick attack and spin. I'll tell you what, Wham is doing a good job of keeping most of his units alive here, but now he's out in the open. I'm not sure if Wham can be here.
No, the camels could just turn at any moment. There's only 3 spearmen left. They're getting focused down. Marine Lord just falling back to the reinforcements as well. Not many units streaming across from Wham. The scouts are even involved here. This is where all the marbles, the fight will now go in favor of Marine Lord. Wham on the retreat, on the heels, but there are so many camels.
So many camels, even with +1 armor. They are able to easily clean up those spears, and that is one of the issues when you're against such a mobile army. If you're caught out on the map, there is no way back home. Going for +1 attack. I don't know if he does have Owl Pikes already. I'm not sure he does. Oh, he does have Owl Pikes already. Okay, so these units are dealing as much damage as they possibly can here.
Marine Lord Scout is going south from the sacred site. Wham just invested so many docks. We can see him going south.
Yeah,
he's going to spot the new docks. He's going to spot that there's been a Vil sneaking in the south. And Marine Lord, he's going to just send his units right there after Wham just invested hundreds of wood.
There is a demo being made somewhere, and there are a lot of units, and there's been a lot of chaos so far.
Could be a demo moment, but it looks like Marine Lord is so wise to it. The Horsemen going to back away. The explosion not utilized in this moment. A big investment. That is 160 resources. Boom, in the water and nothing to hit.
No, and I mean, yes, he's been spreading, getting a good little Horseman counterattack. In small numbers, these Desert Raiders don't want to be fighting against these Horsemen. Marine Lord still with a decent amount of units back home, but these are very well-upgraded Horsemen. Fights happening here, there, and everywhere. We've got little blinkers happening all over the minimap here. But that Desert Raider count is getting big here, Winston. Wham is doing a good job of accumulating a lot of resources here in food. 29 on food here, getting out a lot of spearmen. And against the spearman horseman mix, you do have to micro so damn well with these Desert Raiders.
Yeah, none on gold compared to 12. Of course, these Desert Raiders do cost a bit of gold, but things could not be more clear for Wham in this moment. He needs to make horsemen, he needs to make spearmen, and they need to win the game soon. And things are heating up here. Marino is up 10 villagers in this game 5. Golden Age 2 even has been activated. His base building at home, feeling comfortable. Things are looking crazy. The armies could clash in the south.
Still, okay, Marine Lord does have +1 ranged attack now, but he has to be careful here, Winston, because if there is a big wraparound, if Wham can get around this army, it won't last for a long time, so Marine Lord has to make sure that he's able to run away whenever he can. Those spearmen are a bit faster than normal. I tell you what, going to start getting some pokes going on.
Oh, big engagement for Wham. He's made so many spearmen and so many Marine Lord's units go down here.
7 Desert Raiders, 8 in production here. Marine Lord has 16 villagers on gold, which is a huge number. But does he have to start thinking about switching it up? As long as he has field to run, he's going to be feeling pretty okay. And again, has Wham stepped a little bit too far here? Some of these Desert Raiders are getting picked off from these spearmen that are a little bit faster than normal. And I tell you what, you do have to be so careful with these Desert Raiders. They are not cheap.
Quite an engagement for Wham. He's continuing that production, now moving villagers to gold himself. Be thinking about some additional upgrades, feeling that the pressure is off. He was able to weather the storm. His docks did go down, a huge economic loss, but on the back of it, he seems okay, only down 10 villagers.
Yeah, Wham, or 10 eco even, including the fishing boats, but you know that Marine Lord wants to be on the south side of the map. He wants to be burning down those docks. They are more expensive for your opponent. He got it set up. They're going to last for a long time. Wham wants the attention anywhere but. That is why he's here. He's on the other side of the map. He's near his opponent. He's getting a lot of gold here, probably thinking about an age up as well. That is so many guys on gold. Even thinking about regular archers here. That must have been quite a sad archer there. And Marine Lord, he's having to fight in 2 places at once. This is when Desert Raider Micro gets very, very tricky.
Yeah, Marine Lord looks like he was actually aiming for that Castle Age. So 2 games in a row, Wham raids the gold at the perfect time.
And 6 Desert Raiders in queue. Still so much emphasis here on a feudal situation. These spearmen still able to deal quite a bit of damage, but he has to be so careful. As this army gets thinned out, it will not be able to stick around. And Wham realizing how many guys on gold there, yeah, he has to be thinking it's going to be Castle. And I tell you what, the situation doesn't get better for him. As Desert Raiders hit age 3, it gets so damn scary if you are a H3 player stuck in this kind of army. Look at this, lovely micro, focusing down these horsemen one by one. These Desert Raiders do great damage, even against these nice range army units.
This is just looking better and better for Marine Lord. The number's just not there, but Wham maybe was thinking about going Castle Age, just 600 gold and nothing to really spend it on at this moment. Just sticking with the plan of horsemen, spearmen, and logistics is coming in. That's going to be massive. Relic grabbing on the field, also healing. We've seen a lot of these Desert Raiders are very hurt, and them getting healed up here very quickly, mind you, by these the Dervishes could look amazing for Marine Lord. And the Prelate goes down, the economy under attack.
This is very scary now because Marine Lord, he's looking strong, he's looking fierce. There's a lot of villagers out on the map. Wham does have Wheelbarrow available, but now that Marine Lord's come over here, knowing the army's somewhere in the main base, he can start picking off the villagers, but also working down to the south, away from his base while he's taken up, and close to where the docks are. Lots of the food income.
Wham once again sort of forced to defend his base by charging into death with his army, just sending them forward, saying, I need you to buy me just a little more time, please. But Marine Lord will have none of it. He will not even let these spearmen hit him. Potentially, ooh, well, I spoke too soon, but Marine Lord still whittling down these numbers so effectively. And logistics swing is only a minute away.
Oh, this is brutal for Wham. I mean, you said buying time, but buying time for what? It's his opponent that has time on his side. Logistics means he's going to be grabbing relics. Hatchery really want relics. The eco is so much better for higher bid as well. So many guys on gold.
Rams!
Oh, Rams. That's going to make short work of these docks. And that is one advantage of having that Desert Raider wing. Even your camels can start producing siege.
Yeah, in just 30 seconds, Wham will hear the sound, hear the news. Golden Age Tier 3 even is in. So many bonuses are accumulating for Marine Lord. Things are just looking better and better for the reigning champion to hold his title. Wham making one last charge here, potentially trying to get us around on all of these Desert Raiders, but it's just not enough. Marine Lord just whittles away once again.
He's whittling down those spearmen, and if he gets rid of all of those, age up has happened. The face of Wham probably in despair right now. The webcams are obviously a little bit later on the front, keeping a few spearmen in this stealth forest here, but the upgrades are coming online. Relics will start getting grabbed. There are more Desert Raiders in total than any number of military on the field for Wham. And I tell you what, soon they're going to get upgraded pretty massively here with that veterancy.
And Camel Lancers as well, going to be the next unit of choice for Marine Lord. He switches several to melee mode and just takes the fight. He says, you've been chasing me around. Now I want to take the fight to you, Wham, he says. Marine Lord now running down what remains of Wham's army, looking for the kill, looking for it all.
And you see that bit of disappointment on the face of Wham here, realizing that maybe his time has come to an end here. He's made it to the final, but once again, Marine Lord being a bit crazy there with his Desert Raiders, but they have all turned silver. This means that they are upgraded. They are a lot stronger. The fights have not been fair thus far. Marine Lord taking this fight here, doing incredibly well. And I think this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Marine Lord is our champion here in Game 5, match point.
Once again, he does it.
The three-peat, the Wololo, undefeated, undisputed champion of Red Bull Wololo. 3 times in a row. This time he was taken to the very end. The first time he's ever dropped him in the final of Wololo. But what a performance from Victor and from our second placer as well. We'll hear what the man has to say. Take it away, Zoe.
Thank you so much. Everyone, give it up for our champion, Marine Lord. Another trophy for your trophy case. But Marine Lord, this was unprecedented because Wham did push this. He really made you work so hard for it. What made this game so close?
I mean, to be fair, I was expecting him to do worse because that was the same quality as he did in practice. And in practice, it's always pretty much 2-3 or 3-2, and with practice, whole months. So I was expecting him to have some nerves and like not be as ready as me, but it went toe to toe. And I think every game that he won, he had a better sieve, and every game that I won, I drafted better, I think. So, and yeah, he played very well.
Do you feel that pressure? Because people do expect you to sweep it cleanly and like play so dominantly. Does that play in your head once you're actually on the back foot or once your opponent manages to even out the series?
No, I really don't care. I won enough trophies, so I know I just want to have fun. So I don't really put pressure on myself. And yeah, I just try to have fun. And it was very fun to have such a close 3-2 against Wham.
You couldn't have asked for a better final. You guys made it so exciting. Now, Marine Lord, before I'm going to let you lift that trophy that is rightfully yours after this victory, any final words to the people who have been following and supporting you on your journey?
I mean, thanks everyone for the support. Thanks to my team, Gentlemates. Thanks to all my sponsors. Thanks to my family. Thanks to my cats. And thanks to everyone else here. You are a lot. So yeah, thanks everyone.
I'll take that one from you. And now, Marine Lord, this is your big moment. Everyone, Marine Lord!
Champion of Red Bull Wololo, Age of Empires 4, Marine Lord!
I could not hear him in my ear. I have no idea.
I just needed this. Well, let's keep the energy up, my friends. What an incredible final we've just seen. Before we get fully settled, how about we put our hands together for our valiant runner-up, Wham, as well. 3-2. He went down swinging. He gave us a hell of a show. Well done, Wham. All right, as we set things up and get ready for the next stage of the proceedings, we have am somewhat flattered to tell you, have received several requests to replay the sea shanty bit from earlier. Very pleased to hear you all enjoyed my